Welcome back to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the video game industry. Join us every week for a discussion about the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals alongside the Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. Let me tell you, there's a lot of special guests on this episode. I'm one of your hosts today, Alex Van Aken, live in downtown Los Angeles in our studio, our makeshift studio, powered by Rode microphones. We've got the Rode mic, the Rode PSA 1 Plus, the Rodecaster Pro 2, the Video S. It's we got wireless goes, and it's all in this awesome blue colorway as part of Rode's new colorway package. So if you're out there, you're looking for ways to customize your gaming play space or your podcasting or TikTok space for making content, look to Rode. They've got some great stuff. You can go to Rode.com or click the link in the description. Just say forewarning, that is an affiliate link, so Game Informer does get a small kickback, but there's no additional charge to you. We just need to disclose that. Joining me is one Marcus Stewart. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm going to do something right now that you rarely ever see on the Game Informer show.
Holy hell.
Look, I can touch.
Yeah, we are here in person.
Video editors wobble, but they don't fall down.
Your little box can't save you now, Eric.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Hello, Eric Van Allen.
Hi, I'm here. We're actually present and in each other's lives. Look at this. We all live in the same place for 5 days of the year.
Yes.
Well, we are recording this at the end of Summer Game Fest, but we've been recording for several days. We've got special guests throughout the show today. We've got folks like Jason Schreier, Myles, Obenza, Janet Garcia, one Jill Grodt, former Game Informer editor. A ton of people came through this week, and we had an excellent podcast. So I'm excited to get into that in a little bit. We're going to finally take some time and start the show off by talking about the games we played here at Summer Game Fest and what we thought of the experience as a whole. I do want to say that this year was, I think, one of my favorite SGFs. It was, a little interesting in some ways, but I think all in all, it was just nice to see people, nice to see and work with people that I love and care about. And we saw some good games. I think, high up on my list is something like a Blood Dungeon, which we'll talk about later in the show, as well as Slap Out of It, which is, I think, that was my first or second appointment of the show. And I proceeded to tell every person I saw they should go and play it. But I want to hear what you guys thought about the show, and maybe kick us off with some games you played. Marcus, let's start with you.
Yeah, I had a great time. This is my third SGF, but I thought this might also be my favorite. Like, I thought the energy was great this year. It was the biggest it's ever been. I mean, Nintendo was here, which I think is the first time they've ever had like a proper real presence at the show.
It was a third-party presence, which was really interesting. It was a lot of stuff out here that is definitely I attended it for GI, and it was a lot of stuff that was on Switches, but we didn't see any like Star Fox or anything like that. But it was cool to see like a Nintendo banner here.
Yes. But yeah, I thought that the game, in terms of the variety of it, was very strong this year. A lot of really fun demos, a lot of surprises in terms of just when I would talk to you guys or talk to colleagues about like what was cool with the show, and just getting like some surprising answers that I just, either games I wasn't on my radar or was, but it was like, oh, is this better than I maybe gave it credit for? Okay, that's cool. But yeah, there's like, I've had a blast being here. I'm dog tired. At this point, I've been here longer than you guys, though.
You're on day 9.
Yeah, I've been here. I had 2 other events that I flew out to LA ahead of you guys showing up, so I've been here. It'll be a total of 10 days by the time I leave.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm about ready to head back to the beautiful state of Florida. But
yeah, you got to go get ready for GTA 6.
Yeah, exactly. I got to get the state ready.
Got a lot of prep work, I imagine.
Got to talk to the DeSantis.
Yeah. Everybody's on this. Yeah. Eric, how about you? How was your show?
It's been interesting. I agree with the sentiment that I think it's probably my favorite SGF that I can think of off the top of my head, barring maybe my second was pretty good too.
Yeah.
But it's been a really good one this year. I mean, I've talked with people, in general, on trying to practice a little bit of gratitude. In our last segment, Alex is going to say something similar that I think has really kind of resonated with a lot of us this weekend, is that, we're here to do some really, really cool stuff and show off some, like, that media can be a filter, that media can be a recommendation engine, that media can be a place where interesting thought and discussion happens, and we can act as that medium to help that happen. So getting back into that, doing a lot of this work, a lot of the video interviews, a lot of the stuff we're doing here has been really, really cool. And then we've also been seeing a lot of cool games that I have to constantly check my phone for to make sure that I know what the embargoes are.
Yes, if you see us checking our phones, it's embargoes.
I know sometimes people get on my case because I'll be looking off screen during the GI show, and normally that's me just checking to make sure that OBS has not exploded during the GI show.
Well, guess what? My phone is not on me, so I'm gonna be a loose cannon, boys.
Yeah, this time it is. I
can't wait to edit this.
Well, you can't wait to edit.
Yeah, Eric said it in this.
He said it. He said it. He has to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, some really, really cool stuff. I mean, I think a lot of my personal games, a lot of the stuff I took was not the higher profile stuff. That kind of fell to some of the more senior members of the crew. I'm not complaining, I promise. It was more like I got to chase after some of the really cool, more niche or surprising things at the show. I think Alex took up a lot of those indie appointments. You actually took a lot too at Annapurna and stuff like that. So
yeah, I got at Annapurna a lot. I think I've probably spent the most time with Annapurna just based on my schedule. Like I was there, I think at least once every day, it felt like. But saw a couple of theater showings, played a couple of smaller games that they're publishing. Yeah.
Nice.
They had a pretty big presence this year.
One game that I want to talk about that I don't want to forget about is it's from the developers of Splitgate and Splitgate 2, Portal Wars, 1047 Games. It's called Impulse. And guys, it's probably the closest thing we're going to get to Titanfall 2 for a long time.
I mean, Titanfall 3.
Titanfall 2 multiplayer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wherein you are like you're a pilot running around, wall running, sliding, doing all sorts of stuff, and then grappling around with a grapple hook. And then instead of fighting for control of power weapons like a sniper or like a rocket launcher or something, there will be a notification that like people see that it's time to fight over a mech, and a mech is about to spawn, and it's kind of a race to see who can pilot it. And then once you do have it, of course, you have your kind of power level increases significantly when you're powering that thing. It's got like a Gatling gun. You can of course just kind of like run over people. It's got like if you press, I was playing on mouse and keyboard, if you press shift, then you would kind of like sprint forward, like dash forward, which is a fun feeling in a mech. And I think they really kind of nailed the Titanfall feel of like kind of being in that, you are in this massive like hulking machine, but there's like almost like a looseness to it that feels really good. That it's kind of like juxtaposed with like being inside this giant, machine. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it felt really good to play. They kind of set up a few different loadouts, and I just had I was just playing against bots, so yeah. I was in a little playground, just having a blast.
Is it a multiplayer only game, or is there any single player component?
It is multiplayer only, I believe. Okay. Yeah. But they've got this like they're grenades they call paints, and there's like some in-universe language, but you essentially throw a grenade that is like, think of it as almost like a Splatoon grenade or something, where like you throw it and it affects the walls, the floor, the ceilings of whatever's in the blast radius,
and then you can sink into it and swim.
Not quite, but you can customize what that paint does depending on which one you've equipped. So one of them is like it's like a slow, it's like almost like a sticky paint, and so that's really good for locking down like a mech that you don't have control of. And everyone's secondary weapon are hammers, and you literally just take hammers and beat the hell out of the mechs.
As you do.
They also have like a weak point in the center of their cockpit, but like it's so fun to like be zipping around and like hammering mechs.
Hey guys, let's go beat up that Gundam.
Yeah, exactly.
Real, like mugging energy to this.
Yeah,
stuck.
If Gundams existed when I was a kid, we would beat it with hammers.
Let's kill them with hammers.
Yeah, exactly. And so like you can use like the sticky grenade of sorts. you can use. There's one that's like just kind of a straightforward, like this deals explosion damage, but it's like a more of a DOT, and it's like depending on when you are standing in it or touching it, it will do different damage depending on the timeline of like when it was thrown and stuff. I think one of the more interesting ones is like it's like essentially a jump paint that you can like go into it and you get a huge jump boost, but it's all serving like the purpose of like enhancing your kit and your strategy. And I just think this game has excellent flow, and it's just like one of those. Listen, if my moment to moment movement feels fun, like that's what I'm looking for in a game, right? Like, is it fun to move? Later on in the GI show, some folks will talk about like the importance of like making movement fun, right? And like, I'm not just holding a stick forward and sprinting, right? And waiting to see an enemy. I'm always kind of doing something to get to a higher vantage point, get around this corner and try to get the jump on people. And it felt really good. I was actually really impressed. They've been working on this for about, I think, like a year and a half, a little over a year, since they wrapped on Splitgate 2. I did really want to ask the developer about his infamous make FPS greats again.
I noticed him over by his booth, and he had a different hat.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was prepared to ask him about that, and then he was pretty disarming because he's a big Game Informer fan, which of course every appointment like I'm a huge fan, but I was like, I think he really is, and I was like,
I will say,
I was like, maybe we can grow, we can all change.
I will say in his defense, I interviewed him a couple times for the original Splitgate, and he seemed like a genuinely like nice guy.
I think maybe it was a very bad move that maybe he thought was going to land differently. That yeah, that's maybe a charitable way of interpreting that, or but people contain multitudes.
Yeah.
But he was a really nice guy. I think his team is working on a good game, and I'm excited to play it. I think there's like either a beta or early access coming like later this month.
Right.
But it's Impulse with an E.
An E.
Yes.
Impulse. I'm an Impulse, by
Like
the way.
EMP.
Yeah. Impulse, by the way.
I've got a wild game to talk to y'all about.
Yeah?
The one that I had to check the embargo for. I guided a hands-off demo of The Wolf Among Us 2. That was a really interesting one. I basically sat on a couch.
So this game is real.
Yeah, this game is real.
Okay.
It was in development. It was in progress in many ways. But I sat down with the creative director of the game, sat on the couch next to me, and just kind of drove the session as I made choices for it. And it was really interesting to go through that because I think I never finished the first Wolf Among Us, but I played a pretty good chunk of it back when it first came out. And that was years and years ago with the original Telltale crew. And obviously, a lot of time has passed. The makeup of what Telltale has changed over time. I mean, Telltale has literally died and come back in that time. Shout outs to game companies that die and come back. And there's since a mixture of kind of old Telltale folks and new folks working at this new studio trying to make essentially a Wolf Among Us that picks up 6 months after the first game ends. And I was fascinated by the challenge of having to approach that kind of thing, I think, especially because it's such a beloved Telltale game. But I was really impressed by what I saw. I saw a section that was kind of at the end of the first episode, they told me. It is a singular game that will still be broken up into episodes. I feel like that's kind of where a lot of these adventure games have gone over the years, is that the episodic format does fit it, and even stuff like Dispatch will kind of do a, here's one every so often, but even that was a very condensed schedule compared to, think of Life is Strange 1 and how long that took to fully release. But it was basically a locked room where Bigby and this NYPD cop who has kind of been swept up in these murders that are happening are trying to solve this puzzle to get out. And I was really impressed by how much there were puzzles, there were actual solving, they explicitly wanted to show off in this demo the amount of signposting you can or cannot opt into, which I thought was really interesting. Because on recently in the GI Slack and also in many other forums, I have lamented the rise of the talking head who tells you how to solve the puzzle the second you walk into a room. When you walk into a room and you're looking around, you're just trying to take in the scenery and look at things.
Would
And
you like to give a specific example, perhaps a controversial?
Kratos, brother, you get on the box over there and I hit the switch. And I get really tired of that stuff. And so
that happened to me, by the way. I won't say which game.
I was saying real life.
I was demoing a game this week at Playdays.
Oh, this is real. Yeah.
Yeah. And the person kept interrupting me and telling me how to solve the puzzle. And I was like, I'm having zero issues right now. Like, I can tell you how I'm doing this.
I literally
He's like, that's me, brother.
Yeah.
Like, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
God forbid I catch a vibe inside this puzzle room, okay? Like,
yeah,
just
like
wanna hang out.
I know, God.
Yeah.
And I was mad because I ended up finishing like early. I was like, you were rushing me for no reason.
But they were telling me that they have these strikingly diegetic ways of introducing that, where one of the examples they showed was there was a puzzle that I was trying to solve, or that they were trying to solve, using different sliding things that would ultimately form an image. And they said, there's an option to basically ask your cop friend Faye for a picture that she had taken of said image. And they were saying, depending on choices made earlier, that image could come from somewhere else or something like that. We actually have different ways of introducing this hint in order to kind of make it fit diegetically. And I thought that was really novel. I really dug that. A lot of it feels like there's a lot of thought going into how they approach what a quote unquote telltale style adventure game is, because we have seen so much iteration on that genre over the years as both the original Telltale works and similar works have kind of tackled what I would call the new adventure game, the 3D walk around adventure game. And it really does feel like they're trying to do something that feels like it is both rekindling a lot of that old magic while trying to move it up to modern standards. And I'm very surprised by it. One of the coolest things they told me was that they built a custom renderer for Unreal to try and mimic as much of the original art style of
yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in there that you can check out on our article on GameInformer.com for more. But they did some really, really cool stuff to make that all work. They would not tell me if any choices from The Wolf Among Us 1 would carry over into The Wolf Among Us 2, though. The most I got was maybe and stay tuned. So
all right,
we will see. But
I'm thinking we might still be figuring this out.
The fact that they are making the remastered version, which I believe is coming out this October, makes me think that it might be tied to that, but that is my speculation.
Yeah,
that's my speculation. That's not it. But yes,
cool.
Yeah, Marcus, what do you want to talk about game wise?
You know what? I'm gonna be first and foremost. I just noticed that my sunglasses that I thought were missing are actually right in front of me, just off camera on this table. So that makes me very happy.
I did that with.
Would you like to put them on? Would that make you feel better?
Well, here's the thing. As I grab these, because I'm going to go into cool guy mode here, because I'm going to throw a curveball.
Somebody needs to do it.
Yeah. The game I'm going to talk about, technically, I did not play at SGF. I played before SGF, which many people didn't get to do.
Yeah, only
play games before SGF.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Nobody plays video games.
That.
But speaking of Annapurna, I actually got to go to Annapurna's like headquarters in LA, like where their film studio, I guess, is based. To go check out a big event for Control Resonant. I got to play about an hour, actually more than an hour. I think it was like 2 hours of Control Resonant, from like the very beginning of the game to a section a few chapters in. Control Resonant was at SGF, but when I was talking to people that played it sounds like they stopped right before the second half that I got to continue at this event. But I'm a huge fan of Control. I think that first game is incredible. It's one of my favorite worlds I've ever been in. Like, I just love everything about that game. And when I saw the sequel, one, I'm excited to see the sequel, but also the sort of like character action direction that they're going in speaks to me, because I'm a huge like stylish action, like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, give me all of that stuff. I love it. So I was really curious to see how Remedy would nail that, because that is not the kind of games that they make. They pretty much just do third-person shooters, really. think about between Max Payne. And,
Well, and there was Crossfire, but
I mean, that's a shooter too.
By the way, I just wanted that new Crossfire game from That's No Moon.
I mean, I can talk
Okay.
about that too because
You saw that too.
that was my first event.
Okay, all right. Finish
I can
Control.
keep the shades on for that.
Please do. Yeah, I think we need them. Yeah.
But yes, for Control. So, long story short, the game is awesome so far.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like Dylan Faden, the character in that game,
Mhm.
he controls incredibly well the action in that game. Again, for being Remedy's first stab at that style of action game, I'm not gonna say it matches the kind of like action game nirvana of like the best of DMC
Mm.
or Bayonetta, but it's not terribly far off, which is still a great mark to hit for your first time out. The combat's a lot deeper than I maybe expected it to be because the weapon that you have, the Aberrant, which is kind of the transforming, like pretty much it's like Jesse's the service weapon in the first game, where it's like a transforming gun. He just has like a transforming like metal rod that can turn into like a scythe or a whip or whatever he wills it to be, basically. But each transformation kind of offers a different play style. Like when I started the game, I had the one-handed axe, which was kind of more balanced in terms of like the speed of attacks, but it also had at least what it described as robust combo potentials. But you're using your standard melee weapon, but you also have a sidearm, which is basically like a sub transformation that you can use. So you actually can turn it into like a whip, or you can turn it into a big hammer for like heavy swings. But then also Dylan has superpowers because he's super powerful, and that's why he was locked away in the FBC headquarters for so long. So he can, at least in the demo I had, he could kind of like summon a bunch of rubble around him, like a shield that felt really cool to like block attacks suddenly. Yeah.
Is he an earthbender? Is that what we're talking about? Or
He does do a lot of earthbending because he has another ability where he just like kind of wheels earth in the ground and just like throws it at people.
fine.
Okay, don't hate me. I've only watched like a few episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You can't hate me for my turtle takes anymore. Like that's
Yes, I
You think
can.
that's more offensive than not?
Yeah, because I'm
being indifferent towards Ninja Turtles.
in our age
because
range.
I will say I have enjoyed what I watched of that show.
I
Okay,
don't think
Clearly
you can use
not
the
you.
age range thing because there has been a Turtles show for every generation.
I made it to the Fire Temple.
The fire. That's like
the fire.
That's like the second
You mean the Fire Nation?
Fire, no,
no. There's a part at the
Or you
beginning.
talking about a specific episode?
There's a part at the beginning of the first season where they go to a fire temple
Right.
during I think it's like one of the equinoxes or something.
Yeah.
because he can only talk to one of his past selves. I swear I'm not this into Avatar. I just recently rewatched this series, and so I know what episode Alex is talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped. I was like, "This is great. Can't wait to watch more." And then I got busy. But
Yeah,
and then
you
can
lied.
watch more.
my point being, I always thought the Earthbenders are awesome.
Oh, the Earthbenders are the coolest.
Like back
for
in
sure.
City of Heroes, back in the day, I would play an Earth controller when you like summon like rock tombs and stuff around people, and like that. I love that kind of fantasy. Like even as a kid, when like I was outside with my friends and we were like, "Well, I'm gonna control water. I'm gonna control fire." I would be the Earth guy. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're Kwame and Captain Planet.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it sounds like this is up my alley.
Yeah, and if you want to see the best of earthbending, watch that live action Avatar movie. Anyways, the Dylan has these kind of like three kind of like core tiers of abilities that you're mixing and matching between. You can switch between them when you go to it's basically this game's version of the Mind Palace, more or less, from Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
It's called the Gap. You can access it anytime, and it's basically the space where you can change out your loadouts. You can upgrade your ability trees. There's even a training room if you want to kind of test your loadout, see if it does what you want to do. But just the myriad of combinations that are available is pretty impressive. And also the game kind of encourages you to not stick with anything because certain enemies have vulnerabilities. So they're like, oh, these guys can really only take damage to like blunt weapons, like a hammer. And like, oh, I don't have a hammer right now. So you can still kill them. It's just going to be harder. So you might be like, maybe I'll bring a hammer for this section. I don't know. Like that'll be my excuse to play it. But like the action's good. The sort of like more open area of New York looks awesome because, you know, the Hiss have escaped and they have pretty much turned New York into this like warped, nightmarish version of itself where like streets are suddenly taking like 90-degree plunges. Like there's tons of just citizens floating in the sky like they were in the oldest house in the first game.
Wait, when are you going to start describing the part of New York that isn't like New York?
Oh, that's
That all sounds about right.
What borough is that though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but one of the coolest ones, I don't know why it just popped me, but like there's a section when you early on where you just see a flock of birds and they're just like suspended in animation and they keep flickering in and out of existence. Like it kind of reminded me of Spider-Verse when like Peter
Oh,
B. Parker
yeah.
was like glitching out and stuff.
Yeah.
So like visually it looks awesome. But it's the action's great. It's challenging, but it isn't. I wouldn't say it's like maybe like Devil May Cry challenging, but it
Mm.
does get pretty tough. I fought one boss who I think they've shown in the trailers a kind of like hiss that just looks like a giant woman's head with her jaw missing and her hair's kind of like snake like, and she's like throwing all kinds of stuff at you. Like she just looks really freaky, and she's like just roaming around all over the map. But she was a fun fight, and there were sections later on where you're like going through like this kaleidoscopic, almost like apartment. Like it's like it used to be an apartment building, but it's just now this series of like repeating floors, and you're going room to room, and you can walk on the walls, you can walk on the ceiling, and you're getting into fights there and you're having to jump between the walls and the ceiling. It reminded me a lot of the hotel scene in Inception.
Mm.
In a way, I was like, this is really cool. So I'm so excited to see just now that they have a bigger playground to play with Manhattan, or I don't know if it extends beyond Manhattan, but regardless, I think that there's a lot of like potential for really cool level design and sort of environmental tricks on
Cool.
top of just how good the action is.
Yeah. Really quick because we need to kind of get on to our other segments. Crossfire. The whole thing. I think the coolest thing to me was like that it seemed like they were doing something cool with the cover, the way they were moving between cover.
Yeah. So the first event I went to was visiting That's No Moon's development studio. They're a team of veteran developers here in Los Angeles. Actually, their studio, apparently they were giving us a tour. It used to be the motion capture studio that Naughty Dog used for all the Uncharted games.
Interesting.
And they're using that studio for all their motion capture for this game. But yeah, Crossfire. So it's a reimagining of the Crossfire like multiplayer game. Like apparently Smilegate, the IP holder and developer of the OG game, basically gave their blessing to say you can do whatever you want. So they're telling a single player, no multiplayer whatsoever, like story-driven cinematic just campaign about these two soldiers, one of which is played by an actress from The Boys, whose name I forget. She plays a character named like Victoria, bad guy. I've never seen The Boys.
Oh, yes.
Her name's Claudia Dumet. The actress.
Yeah, I don't want to say who it is because it's really easy to spoil, but yes, I know who you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, she plays a character named Layla in the game. She's the actual playable protagonist. The other character is a soldier named Delroy, I believe, who's also played by another actor named Ricky Whittle, who I believe is I think the only credit they gave was like he's in American Gods. But the idea is like there's these two soldiers that are diametrically opposed to each other because they have just completely differing beliefs. Like Layla apparently is very much like, hey, I believe in change and being progressive. And the other guy's like, no, I don't like that. I like status quo. Things should stay the same. I don't know where they'll go with that. They didn't really
Typical man.
Exactly. They didn't really have context for like what they actually believe in terms of like what do they apply those beliefs to.
Yeah.
They were just kind of keeping that close to the vest. So on the surface, I'm like, okay, that's kind of lame, but also I don't know let's see how that plays into the story. But they kind of get forced to work together because there's some sort of strange threat that has fallen on Earth, something that is clearly like not human. Because despite looking like an average military shooter, they say that this is actually a sci-fi game, but it's grounded sci-fi. So like, I believe in the trailer they showed this, but we got to watch a live gameplay demonstration where Delroy, who is an AI controlled companion, but he's with you the whole game, he has like a cloaking ability. So he has like some sort of tech where he just goes full like Mortal Kombat reptile and can like sneak around. I did not see Layla use this, so I'm not sure if she can do it or if the demoer just didn't do it. But yeah, you have kind of a mix of like conventional weapons and like weird tech like that.
It was like a Ghost Recon Future Soldier or something.
I
Or
can't
like,
believe neither one of you are saying Ghost in the Shell. This is messed up. It's Ghost in the Shell. They're doing Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sure, we'll go with that. Ghost in the Shell, but
It's literally a story about a character who was a
I don't like
spec ops operative. Who
Eric.
had the cloaking device.
I told you I don't like horror. I don't do ghosts.
I gotta leave. When's the flight tomorrow?
Yeah.
But so yeah, to your point, the centerpiece feature for this game is this system called adaptive cover, where their big pitch for this is basically we want to evolve the cover-based shooter because for so long taking cover in games meant hiding behind an obvious box.
It's the Gears of War, you know.
Yeah, much
we're still doing it 2 decades later.
Yeah, you go in a room, you clearly know where you can hide. Where they wanted because this game's built in Unreal 5, so they were like, oh, using that tech, it pretty much has the ability to create natural geometry. Like if you they demoed it was kind of like in a canyon, which has a bunch of like rocks and boulders laying around naturally. And they're like, oh, basically we can have it so that the characters can they're animated in a way where they'll organically morph to the
mesh of the
mesh,
object. Yeah.
And in a way that makes sense and basically is the way a real person would if you were taking cover, basically using whatever was around you.
Yeah.
So they showed us like a gray box sort of wireframe breakdown of this that kind of helped sell or explain what the tech did. But yeah, it looks cool. Like just seeing the character just move and crawl through the rocks the way a real person would, it was pretty impressive, just animation wise. And again, it makes the firefights more interesting because you go into an area and it's not always clear where you can hide, but you just take whatever you think will hide you best and provide some sort of advantage in terms of like, okay, can I shoot them, but they can't shoot me? But I like the thought behind that because this game is a stealth forward game. They were very clear that like it's very easy to die. You take a few shots and you're down. They're trying to like realistic lethality. And ideally, you want to sneak up on people or flank them instead of just outright getting into firefights. You can do that. It's just going to be really hard. But between that and having a stamina meter that you have to manage, where you don't really see in shooters very often.
Yeah.
And also, you have like armor that you can equip, but it can shatter when it takes too much damage. And the sound design, I would say, was really good. Like the bullets, every bullet felt impactful. Every gunshot felt impactful. The game looks really nice, just fidelity wise. Like I think I was worried about this at the time, and then my fear was confirmed. Where like I don't think the Summer Games Fest trailer really sold what that game's actually trying to do because it's kind of just hard to convey through like a cinematic trailer.
Yeah,
like you would need the devs to go out there and explain like, hey, actually, here's how this works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like interested in that game. I need to see more of it. I'm curious more about the story stuff and how the characterization evolves, but the tech behind it seems really cool.
Awesome. I'm right there with you. Well, we've got a full show, so we're going to toss it over. Eric is going to get in the hot seat and host while we've got a swath of excellent guests. It's going to be a great show. A swath, yes.
A legion,
yes.
A cadre.
A school. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of the podcast. All right. We'll be right back right after this.
Welcome back to the Game Informer Show here at the Game Informer SGF studio, brought to you, powered by Rode. Thank you, Rode, for the awesome boom arms and mics and stuff that we have powering our studio here at Summer Game Fest 2026. And here to talk about the state of things, the games, the fest, the everything, and the Jeff. We have an excellent panel of wonderful guests here to discuss all our thoughts about Summer Game Fest. So far, we're actually recording this on the Sunday, so we have not experienced all of what Summer Game Fest may hold for us. But I feel like we can get a good idea so far. Starting on my closest side here, John Carson.
Yes. Hello, hey. It's day 2.
It is.
And
day
it feels
2.
like it's day 30. It's been a long, arduous SGF. So
we always call it like day -1, day 0, and it always feels like a misnomer because day 2 really does feel like you've already run half the marathon.
I thought I'd be good today, and then I've had 2 Red Bulls in the last couple of hours, and I'm like barely up to
We've had
normal.
2 Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll need the cardiac kit powered by Road on standby.
Road makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they don't. They don't. Myles, please introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Myles Obenza. I'm a freelance writer. And yeah, it's my 3rd SGF. Like you were saying, it's day 2, but not actually. My first appointment was like Thursday morning, and I've just been nonstop ever since. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
And we've got Jason Schreier. Jason, please introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Well, you just did. I'm Jason Schreier. YouTube personality Jason Schreier. I have an issue. Well, I feel like we got the game. We kind of got the fest, but it's not summer. So it's like, this is...
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
I'm sweating.
Game fest, like late spring game kind of fest.
Sure.
Late spring game event is what I might call it.
I guess it was sweltering. I almost burned the other day at Summer Game Fest.
I mean, fest is just like a festival.
Yeah.
So it's
so just to start it all off, like how are we feeling about Summer Game Fest this year? This is what the 5th year, I believe, of Summer Game Fest total. And Alex Van Aken wanders into this
creeping
for a chair. And it kind of feels like the sentiment I've heard from people is that, okay, the maybe the novelty has worn off. We are no longer in this is the new, and we're trying to figure out, is this how we get kind of the legs of the traditional summer apparatus under us? Because the games industry loves to operate in its cycles, and we usually have now fully commanded by Jeff Keighley. We have the winter of Game Awards and the summer of Game Fest. Jason, how are you feeling about where things are at with Summer Game Fest? Do you think like this is kind of filling a gap that we needed filled right now?
Well, I guess it's always been there, right? Because it was E3 and then there was a tiny hiatus, maybe a year. No, actually, Keighley jumped in even when E3 was still going on with his own Summer Games Fest. So it's always been here. It's interesting. I think from a player perspective, it's a little more confusing than E3 was. It's kind of a disparate collection of events. But from a media perspective, it's actually a little bit better than E3 in a lot of ways, because what E3 traditionally was a series of press conferences, and media people would shepherd around Los Angeles going to these press conferences. And then afterwards, you would go to the Los Angeles Convention Center, which is right across the street from us. And you would attend the show floor, which was packed full of thousands of people. You had to kind of navigate the seas of people and like add an extra 15-minute buffer to every appointment to just get through people and get across all the halls. And it was a spectacle. And that had its advantages. But what we have now is, instead of that convention center portion, we have what's called Play Days, which is a very small campus that is much easier to navigate, much easier to get around, much easier to have appointments for press. So in that way, it's kind of better. I think from the fan perspective, it's a little bit different but from our perspective here, it's kind of like a similar structure, but a better media experience.
Yeah. These details always feel granular and almost maybe like inside baseball, but I think they end up being illustrative of the shifts in the industry as well, because E3 was always a spectacle in and of itself, right? There was kind of a huge industry gathering that would bring in these giant booths, and there was almost an era of like, you've got to be here. E3 is where it's happening. And SGF does feel a little bit subdued by comparison. It's like the difference between a massive tech industry convention and like a South by Southwest, where it kind of takes over the downtown of a city. And we're not even there yet. We just have kind of a tiny campus in LA, and that's kind of where, you know, the crux of it is, outside some outside events. But Myles, like what has your takeaway been of this year's SGF? Do you feel like it's a solid year? Do you feel like we have a lot of stuff going on? Or
so I'm actually like relatively new. I've only been doing this for like 5 years, so I can't compare this to E3 because I've never been. My first E3 that I was approved for was the year it actually got killed.
You killed it?
Yeah, I killed it. It was me. I'm sorry.
Someone had to.
But no, like this is my 3rd, and like Play Days is cool, but it's not the only thing happening. And so your question was like, where does it go from here?
Yeah, I
think a lot of studios have kind of figured out that they might not always need to like work with Jeff Keighley all the time, and they can just do the stuff off site, completely unrelated, and just schedule stuff around this time. That was what my appointment was on Thursday. It was, they know everyone's in town, but it's not related. Yeah, I mean, I'm still enjoying it. Again, I don't have much to compare it to. You guys are gonna have a lot more insight on that than me, but
Trauma sold.
Yes. No. But I mean, it's fun. I'm just glad that like we still have stuff like this for us to have work, and then for devs to get their games out in the world. You know,
John, any thoughts on where SGF, the size of SGF is at right now?
Yeah, like I've gone the last 3 years, and it's occupying the same space for the last 3 years. Yes, there's like those outside, like Xbox has their thing outside. There's only a couple of those events outside the hollowed halls of
The
SGF.
walls.
The
Floral walls.
I think it does need to grow a little bit more. The one thing I miss from E3 is having a bunch of just like play kiosks to just like walk up and play a game. Here it's very like you need an appointment for something. If you don't have that connection to something, like you're not going to be able to play that. Like I'm not going to be able to play like Star Wars Racer if I could. Yeah. So like there's stuff that's there that I can't even access, even though it's right there in front of me and there's plenty of machines there. But if I could just like walk up and play something, I think that's what it's really missing for attendees.
It's an interesting dynamic because like I've covered this thing for sites and I've covered it as a freelancer, and there is a kind of disparity, especially when there is a limit to how many PlayStations you could fit.
Yep.
And not like PlayStations, but like actual places you can play a game.
Yep.
How many you can put in a room, how many people can afford to put in a room. And that is one of the things I think has been coming up a lot around SGF is the question of cost, how much money it costs to be here, how much manpower it costs to be here, how much hardware it costs to be here. And I think that is always kind of a concern for people and for devs on their side is how much is SGF worth it? I mean, even for us on the media side, we ask ourselves, sending people out here, how much is that worth it? Yeah. I do still think that the Summer Game Fest and a lot of the content we end up creating around it is really exciting, and we can get some cool insight and stuff like that. But it is just always this thing that feels caught somewhere between where E3 was and I don't know, something like a PAX or something like that. I've seen a lot more creators around this year. I've seen a lot more content creators, influencers. Jason, do you feel like maybe that's are we seeing the specter of content creation like coming up and being like, this is kind of where the industry is going here?
Are you asking maybe because I'm a content creator?
Yeah, a noted content creator.
YouTuber.
First of all, you when you were talking about the space of the PlayStations, it had me not the PlayStations. It had me thinking that
play kiosks.
Someone should make theme park, but for Summer Games Fest, where you like have to design your own video game convention and figure out how many kiosks you can fit in.
Yeah.
And then every so often, Jeff Keighley comes and takes a tribute from you, a tax to be there.
The sewing occurs. Yeah.
We'll get Kairosoft.
The rebates.
Yeah. I think what you're seeing is more a reflection of the state of media than anything. I mean, there are fewer and fewer outlets. Many of those outlets have been eviscerated. I mean, just this time last year, I was having dinner with some friends who were at Polygon, and they are no longer at Polygon. So it's that. I think the rise of the TikTokers and the YouTubers, I think, is more a reflection of where the media space is than anything. On the money end, I mean, it's interesting. I think that for game developers, being in one of these showcases can change their lives in a big way. It can lead to metrics that they can then show to potential funders. It can lead to obviously sales. It can lead to a lot of things. I'll give you guys a good example, which is at the Game Awards in December of 2024. So not quite Summer Games Fest, but Winter Games Fest, let's call it. Or not even winter, let's call it late fall Games Fest. Late spring Games Fest.
You're getting very specific about the seasonality
well,
of it.
I just think we should be accurate with our nomenclature.
The autumnal equinox fest.
Exactly. At the Game Awards in 2024, the people at Ad Hoc Studio announced a game called Dispatch. And at that point, when they announced it, they did not have funding secured for that game. They announced it, suddenly got this huge influx of attention, and it helped them get a deal that they wound up signing with Critical Role and making sure that they were able to finish the game and had enough funding to do it led to a massive success. So I do think there is benefit to being in one of these things and getting a lot of eyeballs on your game. That said, one of the problems that I was kind of hinting at earlier with this disparate nature of Summer Games Fest is that there are something like 20 showcases, and everybody has just kind of sprung up to be like, we have the showcase that is like about whatever. Like every single genre has a showcase, and that risks just kind of in the same way that having 20,000 games on Steam every year is a problem. That can be a problem too, because I don't know how many eyeballs all those showcases are getting. That said, I mean, it is good generally, I think, to have a nexus point, like a weekend when a lot of people are paying attention to games and gaming news. I think that's good for everybody.
Yeah. The media can act as a filter function in a lot of situations like this, where we can come in and do that. And in honor of that, let's filter right now. And Carson, I'm curious to hear like what you've seen so far that you can talk about, which granted, part of the thing about SGF is that there's many embargoes at SGF. They love to show us things and then say, you can't talk about this for a little bit. So within the bounds of what you can talk about, what has really struck you?
Thankfully, this show goes up after some of those embargoes.
We're trying to time it after the
we're time traveling here. But I saw like Stranger Than Heaven earlier today, and I think that's gonna be a very interesting game. Like people are gonna be talking about.
Did you see Tupac?
I did not see Tupac. Everybody's asked me if I fought Tupac in it, and it's like I would have lost. No, I think that game has like a very interesting combat style, and that's really what they focused on during that demo. That's going to be maybe divisive a bit because it's not as simple as Yakuza. It's
no.
It's I don't know if you want me to deep dive into this quick.
Absolutely.
So combat in Stranger Than Heaven, you're using the bumpers and the triggers, and you're working the left side of your body and the right side of your body.
Like very Tekken almost in that way.
Yeah. And it's not always like the bumpers are your hands and the triggers are your legs. It's sometimes the triggers are your legs, and sometimes it's a more powerful attack. You also have weapons that change how you're utilizing those buttons, but it's always left and right. The interesting stuff that they do is when you have enemies coming in and like grabbing you, like let's say they grab your right arm, you have to use your left arm to like knock them off of you, or just like find openings on people and try to swing at them in the appropriate place. It's probably needs a little bit of tuning. Still, it's very, very hard. And kind of the thing I was having trouble wrapping my head around is I've played like 3 third-person action games during the show, and all of them have different like controller configurations, and so I'm trying to like dodge with B, but B's block, or like attack with certain buttons, and like really getting your mind around that within like a half-hour session is tough. So
I've been having that all week with I'll play something on an Xbox controller and I'll know where X and Y are, and then I'll go demo something on a Switch Pro controller and Y and X are flipped, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. We need to standardize the button mappings across the board.
Sure.
Stranger Than Paradise, it is a curious thing because I feel like
Stranger Than Heaven.
What's
you got Final Fantasy on the mind?
Yeah, Stranger of Paradise. Stranger Than Heaven is an interesting thing because this does feel like a Yakuza adjacent game. There's a lot of hinting that it is kind of a Yakuza style, like it is involved in the Yakuza continuum.
Yep.
But there's just been so much stuff around it from the showcases. I mean, the Tupac thing, I think, is what kind of maybe tilted the cup a little far, and now water is pouring out where people are going, you really need to do that? Do you have to do that? Yeah. But you're saying on the game side, it does feel like it's coming together the way you would expect.
Yeah. It always looked like playing it was a little bit more complex than Yakuza, and actually getting my hands on it. It absolutely is. It takes some getting used to. You really need to be very deliberate with everything that you're doing, just like mentally. Not
always the same as like Yakuza. You just kind of run around and smack guys. Like not to diminish
the dodge and stuff.
Yeah,
like you really need to consider some things when you're going into a scuffle.
There you go. Myles, what about you?
Yeah. it's interesting. This year is a lot more hands-off stuff than the last couple of years. So I've seen a lot of presentations for like, what is it? The Lost Wild. It's basically,
it's not the Lost World.
it's not the Lost
I've had
Wild,
to correct
Lost
myself
Wild.
multiple
Yeah.
times.
But it's basically Alien Isolation. But yeah, it's basically Alien Isolation with dinosaurs, and that's cool. But I didn't get to play it. Same thing with Silent Hill Townfall. It was all just like a half-hour presentation where they just kind of showed off like the first person like sneaking and combat, and you have this like CRT radio that it's kind of like the main gameplay mechanic where you scan it and then you look. It's like your compass, I guess. But if we're talking hands-on, I did play it about an hour with Onimusha Way of the Sword with you actually. It was very good. This is the second time I played it. I believe the demo that's out publicly was the one we played at PAX this last year. So this one is a new boss fight. It's pretty challenging. It's like this creepy like face hand guy. You played today.
It's like a demon that's the whole thing is this town has a god that is granting people what they want, but at a cost. So like there's a lady who doesn't want to play her instrument anymore, so he takes her fingers.
Yeah, it's creepy.
So she doesn't have to play her instrument.
She got what she wanted. I don't know. You got to be careful about how you word these things.
But the fight itself is interesting. Like it's not just like dodge, parry, and deflect your attacks. That like there's more mechanics involved. So there's all of that, but then he's tethered to this like, you know, fountain thing. You can you can attack that and break it to where he's like weaker and he doesn't hit as hard. Yeah, it's challenging. It's not like Souls-like hard where like, I mean, it is, but the checkpoints are pretty forgiving compared to stuff like that. And for someone like me who's not good at stuff like that, it's nice to be able to play it, die, and just start right back over. It took me 5 tries, beat it. And then like it was interesting. We were talking about this earlier. The voice acting was kind of rough if you play in English, but the dubs are good. So, I enjoyed it a lot.
That game has a lot of like combat options. Like
you're
like your parries and your blocks like do different things, but they can kind of result in similar outcomes for what you want them to do.
And there's this like accessibility option to like have the button prompt on screen, but it's kind of misleading because it's not a QTE. It's just like you should hit this button, but it doesn't tell you the time. You can turn that off because I found it kind of pretty distracting.
It can be.
Yeah. What'd you think of it, Jason?
I thought it was cool. Definitely hard.
Yeah.
I died more than 5 times. I won't say it's embarrassing. I don't want to say on film how many times I died on that.
We each get like a number above our heads. It's like how many times we died on.
I beat it on my
It's very
first
embarrassing because it's like I feel like I mean I played all of Elden Ring. I beat every boss in that game. I feel like I'm decent at these games, and then I'm standing there and these Capcom people are watching me and just laughing.
There's a lot of pressure when they're just staring at you.
They're laughing with you, Jason.
They're laughing with me. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that game. It's funny, you guys are catching me the day before most of my hands-on appointments, which are tomorrow, like day of the dev stuff. But I'll give a shout out to 2 indie games that I really enjoyed this weekend so far. One is called Bad Magpie, and it is the bird game that was announced at Xbox from a indie game studio called Milktooth. It's kind of like Untitled Goose Game, but like a little bit easier, a little bit more kind of friendly on the controls than Untitled Goose Game, but still a fun little raucous, garrulous little pigeon that is causing all sorts of, or I guess magpie, that is called magpie, that is causing all sorts of ruckus in this little town, collecting gems. And then the other game that I really enjoyed is called Slap Out of It, I believe it's called.
That's what I was talking with Brendan Groom about that. And that looks awesome.
Very cool game. It's a puzzle game. It's got an art style that's very reminiscent of Bug Snacks, these kind of deformed cartoon characters. And it is essentially a series of almost like escape room-esque puzzles, adventure game puzzles. But there's this core mechanic where your arms extend and slap things, and everything in the game can be slapped. Every character in the game can be slapped.
Excellent.
And you can just use your arms to interact with the world in these hilarious ways. It's extremely fun. They've designed the physics in a way that makes it very satisfying to just slap everything you see.
Like what kind of like a slap I feel is in two parts because there's the initial smack, but then there's like the reverb that comes afterwards. Do they get the good reverb so it has that big like resonance? You know,
think of it in terms of objects. So you're not like leaving marks on people's faces.
Right.
It's more that like you'll see a I don't know, a trash bin. And so you can reach out and your hand extends like 20 feet and slaps the trash bin and then it ruffles and things come out.
Yeah.
And you press the triggers to control your two arms. You can do both arms. And then you're using this to solve all sorts of puzzles. And some of them are clever and fun. And I'm very excited for the real thing. That game, I believe both of those games I just mentioned come out next year.
They sound great. The indies have been really surprising me. I spent some time in a particular booth earlier playing a bunch of them, and one that really stuck out to me that I did not, I mean, obviously didn't see coming at all when it was announced, and also I didn't expect to get me as much as it did, is the Among Us single player game, Among Us Story, where it's a single player murder mystery where you're kind of set up. There's a framing device we don't need to go too far into, but basically in the section I played, you're playing as a guard character who's investigating the murder of a crewmate, suspected there is an imposter among you. And a lot of it just plays so deeply into the Among Us stuff. There's jokes about the swipe card never working on the first go. There's jokes about vents. There's a really good bit of writing where they say the vents are the hallways of criminals or something like that. and I was talking to the team behind it, and one of the writers on the crew is actually Trick Weeks from BioWare, formerly back on Dragon Age and things like that. So there's actually some really interesting writing talent working on this. You can see it play out in just sort of the little quips and jokes that feel really you're getting a good mix of both Among Us references and also the character and the internal monologue you're getting as you play this game from the guard is very hard-boiled detective noir, where you're just going like, these streets reek of crime today. I'm here on this ship to cook eggs and fight crime, and I'm all out of eggs and stuff like that. And it's delightful. It is absolutely delightful in a way that I really like because Jason, you know, I
You're gonna say Gnosis?
Well, Nausea,
that's it.
But in general, I love a good puzzle game and I love a good murder mystery game.
I was gonna ask how it compares to Nausea because that's single player Among Us.
Yeah. You and I have gone back and forth about many of like your Danganronpas, your Zero Escapes, and things like that. And one of the
Danganronpa this year,
2x2. I can't wait.
Which I think is secretly Danganronpa 4. That's my theory.
Two times two,
yeah,
4.
Yeah.
Finish that.
They already did that with the third game, right? So
we can't turn this into a V3 spoiler cast. We'll be here all night. But the thing about those games is they're very gratuitous. They're very excessive. Even stuff like 100 Line is very over the top, and I love them for it. But I really like the idea of a kind of Sherlock whodunit type game that you can play with, that families could play together, that kids could enjoy, that you're not going to be worried about putting on the Switch and saying, like, oh, little Timmy is playing Danganronpa. No, Timmy, don't play Danganronpa. So it was just delightful. I was really taken aback that, this hasn't been done before, because it does feel like an immediately perfect fit for this story and for this style of gameplay, and these jokes work so well.
When is that coming out?
They just told us it's in development. It is one of the ones where it kind of has a vibe of when it's ready, it's ready. But what I played felt very ready so far. And also I poked around a few others there. One that also surprised me was Armatus from the developers of Godfall. If you remember that game from years back, they're making a third-person roguelike shooter. And Godfall had some sauce, had some cookery, and they have relocated the sauce with this game. It's got some really great combat, lots of dashing and shooting and getting cool upgrades for your guns, and it's very punchy, it's very animated, it's very... You kind of get into the mix. I still haven't played Returnal. I've not played Sorrows or Returnal.
Sure.
But when I was playing that game, my first thought was, this is kind of what I thought it would feel like to play Returnal, like in a positive way. Like it's got that sort of one more go, one more run, get these cool upgrades, attach them to your gun, find new ways to blast through enemies. I had this awesome scythe that I would, you build up your special meter, your special abilities by shooting and hitting things. And once they fill up, then you have it to use. And they were telling me they really want to throw enemies at the player to encourage them to not just sit on abilities, but you want to use them constantly. Don't hoard your resources. And so I had this scythe that I was flinging out, and it would ricochet back and forth and boomerang and petrify everything in its path. And then when I shot things, they would explode into stone that would ricochet around and hit other enemies to do damage. It just felt very satisfying. It felt very really good to play. I was playing on a Pro controller on a Switch 2 that was hooked up to a TV, and it was running spectacularly. I think that one is honestly one of my biggest surprises, because I think on paper, third-person shooter roguelite, you've seen it before, but this one I think really took me by surprise and nailed the concept. To kind of wrap things up, we talked about SGF as an entity earlier, but for y'all's SGF this year, are you feeling good about what you've seen? Are you feeling good about where the industry is heading, just based off of the games you've been playing and the discussions you've been having here as we've been hanging out at places, talking to developers, talking to publishers, talking to media? Are you feeling positive right now? Are you feeling okay? How's the sentiment?
I think on the quality of games is continuing to get better, and like as an art form, I think it's just always going to continue to get better. When people make them, not robots. But that's kind of not even half of what our industry is. I feel good about where we're going artistically and like how mechanics continue to evolve, but it's everything else around it that's kind of it's been a hard couple of years,
Yeah, it's definitely been difficult. Carson, you look like you're deep in thought.
I am, because like, yes, there are ways where the industry is, like, I think, getting better at tackling the technical limitations that we're about to be facing with like hardware prices and stuff.
Yeah,
just making games like run better and do some pretty creative things there. But a lot of the stuff that's at the show too feels like a lot of the stuff that's been at the show for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It doesn't feel all that fresh to me right now. There's like little glimmers of hope here and there, but I mean,
there's a lot of third-person action games
there
this year.
are a lot. Yes, but
those do sell. Those,
that's true.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I'm not liking the things that I'm playing and seeing there, but like there's nothing that's like really blowing my mind.
Nothing's
I don't feel like we're moving forward significantly. So yeah.
Jason, what about you?
I was thinking about how in 2019 I was at E3 and it felt like it was dying. And it was like half empty some days. It was really, really weird, surreal. And I felt like E3 was on its way out even before a global pandemic came and put a wrench in everything and accelerated its demise. And similarly, it feels like the video game industry was dying before a massive memory chip crisis came along and put a wrench in everything. So, I mean, I am very pessimistic. I would like to not be, but it's hard to be optimistic about the state of the industry. And I think that, like, as to Myles's point, the quality of video games has never been better. There's never been more of a variety of great games. We're still seeing new genres get invented and pushed, and like the boundaries are getting pushed in all sorts of cool ways. But at the same time, the industry as we know it is going through like irreversible changes, and I don't really know what the next few years looks like there. But it's gonna be shocking for a lot of people, I think, unfortunately.
Well, the one good thing that we have here is a lot of great coverage from the folks here in this room. Happy to have you on. Real quick, before we bounce out again, I'm going to have you all plug your stuff real quick. Jason, where can the folks find you and the wonderful things that you do on the internet?
You can find me on the Triple Click Podcast, which is a podcast about video games.
Excellent. Myles, what about you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Myles Obenza and find a lot of my games work at A Temple of Geek. I also freelance at like most of these websites.
Heck yeah. And John Carson.
Yeah. I mean, Blue Sky, you can find me at John Carson. I'm for SGF, you can find my work at But Why Though at MMORPG.com. And then I'm going to be shopping around a few other things that will hopefully land somewhere.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
The life of a freelancer.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah.
Well, you can keep it here for Game Informer. We'll have more segments coming up after this. Don't go far. Summer Game Fest 2026, powered by Rode. We'll be right back.
Look, we've all been there. You've got the angle, you've got the timing, but you still lose the trade. In competitive gaming, milliseconds aren't just a stat. They're the difference between a trophy and a GG next. That's why the team at Logitech G just changed the game again with the new Pro X2 Super Strike. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a total reimagining of the mouse click. It features the revolutionary HITS technology. That's the haptic inductive trigger system. They've ditched traditional switches for magnetic sensors that give you an up to 30 millisecond advantage. Think about that. You are literally clicking faster than the speed of human reaction. And the customization is insane. You can tune your actuation points across 10 levels and even adjust the haptic intensity. Whether you want a crisp, sharp snap or a hair trigger rapid fire, the Super Strike adapts to you. Under the hood, you're looking at the Hero 2 sensor, pushing a massive 44,000 DPI and a blazing 8K polling rate. At just 61 grams with 90 hours of battery life, it's built to outlast your longest grind. If you're serious about climbing the ranks in Valorant, CS2, or Apex, this is the best choice for the world's best pros for a reason. Stop playing fair and start playing faster. Go to logitechg.com and enter code GameInformer25 at checkout to save 25% off Logitech G products. Just a quick note, some exclusions apply, and the promo is non-stackable with other offers. Grab the Super Strike today. The winning click is finally here.
Welcome back to the Game Informer Show here at Summer Game Fest 2026, powered by Rode. Thank you so much, Rode, for getting us these awesome mic boom arms and other equipment that we are using to bring all this down. We've got a great studio set up here. We're talking about the games that we've played this week and Summer Game Fest itself, and we've brought a great panel in to continue that conversation. Let's start with my left here. Jess, introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Hey, I am Jessica Cogswell, and I am an editor over at GameSpot.
And we got Imran, who our Game Informer fans are probably familiar with, but for those who don't know, you know.
I think I've done Game Informer like every year since being laid off from Game Informer. Mm-hmm. So like it's like I never left.
Games Media always passing that same $5 around.
But yeah, I'm Imran Khan. I am a staff writer for Restart.Run.
And we got Jesse over on the end. Introduce yourself, please.
What's going on? I'm Jesse Vitelli, everybody. I also work at Restart.Run. I think my official title is associate editor. I don't actually know what my title is. So
I have two different titles in the back end.
Yeah, social editor and then staff writer and also associate editor. I don't know which one I am.
I have to say something so important. I've known you for so long. It's Vitelli.
Okay, cool. Let's clear this up right now. My mom says Vitelli, my dad says Vitelli, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
I always say Jesse Vitelli.
You can say whatever you want.
You caused my wife like a crisis of consciousness when like you told her
I remember that, yeah.
She was like, she got mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah, she really thought I was like gaslighting her forever. And the truth is, I don't know.
I say Jesse Vitelli.
Vitelli.
Here we are. We're talking about Summer Game Fest. Jesse, we'll start with you. What's the vibe of Summer Game Fest this year for you? How are you feeling about it?
I feel tired, which I think a lot of people have probably said. It's a good time. I always call it video game block party. I think that's like the most apt description I can come up with. It does feel a little more block party this year with like the giant statue heads and the pool. To be clear, there's no water in the pool. It's just like a statue.
It's just
like
an empty pool.
Empty pool with like a fake diving board. The games are cool. The people are great. As always, that's why I love coming here. But otherwise, it's like a little... It feels weird. I don't know how to describe it.
I do feel like there are more influencers and other people doing photo ops in places now.
Yes.
Like when I was at a demo today and like at the registration booth, somebody was like taking photos posing. I'm like...
At the registration booth?
Yeah, well, like the check-in booth. I was like... Oh,
that's funny.
Cool, I get. Like, because they were tweeting... Like I'm in line for like this demo.
Oh, sure.
You know, I do. So I think that there are definitely more influencers this year. I have to say that part of me finds this stuff really cute because I'm always like, what if this is like like this is probably their first time doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to them, they're like, holy shit, I made it. Like I'm doing the thing. Cause like we've all had moments where we walk in a room and we have that feeling. And so I don't know. It's cool to kind of see
Yeah.
stuff like that play out.
No,
Yeah.
I'm happy for them.
Yes.
As long as it does not get in the way of me doing my
Yes.
job.
I've been really excited to see. I feel like I've seen a few influencers around who are definitely more on the specialized side, and that has been really exciting to see
Yeah.
of people who kind of do specialized YouTube content, who play certain game genres and stuff like that. I believe we're having one on as a guest in our next segment, so that'll be a fun discussion topic. But like, I think that's a really cool thing to see, because that's something that as games media, I feel like we always have a very generalist approach. We kind of have to show up here, and there's certainly a level of take appointments that feel right for you, that you want to do, but there are always some that are like, this is a big game, this is a notable game, we need to go play it, somebody has to go play it. And I've really enjoyed seeing some of the more specialized YouTubers and how they approach some of this stuff, because they go in with a beat and a drive, and they know what they're talking about, and they go to appointments, and you can immediately tell who is showing up and like knows ball about what they're talking about.
1,000%. I'm so glad that you said it, because it's actually so true. I remember one of the first years I would like, maybe the second year I went to it. Like I saw someone who is an influencer named Cozy K, and she does a lot of like cozy game coverage. She's all over Instagram, and she's amazing. Like she just seems like such a sweetheart. And I saw her and I was like, that is so cool. Like that is so cool that they are reaching out to the right people who know how to serve like these very, like, I don't want to say niche, because cozy games aren't really niche, but like it's a specific category of games, and I'm really happy that that representation exists.
It would be funny if Cozy K pivoted to like Doom.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I remember when
Game's at the Saw game right now.
yeah, when Silent Hill came out, because or like F, because it had I guess like it had sexy fox guy,
Mhm.
and it also was just like more focused on like feminism. I saw a lot more like cozy gamers and like female streamers and stuff like that who don't typically play horror start playing that game, and I was like, fuck, or can't say that game.
We can bleep it.
And I was like, heck yeah.
Ben Hansen used to get very mad at me because I would like you. Like I knew we're not supposed to curse, but it was gonna happen.
Yeah, we're technically supposed to keep it within bounds. So,
Yeah.
but you know, you can't control.
Have you guys
13, we get one.
Yeah.
We used it.
That was
have you
the
guys
one, sorry.
talked about the Saw robot? Yeah.
Yeah, we have not. So the last segment we had on with the wonderful John Carson, Myles Obenza, and Jason Schreier, all fantastic. We kind of talked more broadly about where Summer Game Fest fits within the industry, and how, you know, does it reflect the industry back at itself. And those are all great, like heady philosophical topics. But we haven't talked about the fact that there was a tiny Jigsaw riding around on a bike. Like about
yeah, about 3 feet tall.
Yeah, riding around on a bike with no explanation. And my first inclination that I legitimately did have to hold myself back from was field goal kicking that thing through the goalposts of heaven.
Yeah.
I strongly dislike that puppet.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's creepy looking. We did feed it a cookie at one point.
We did feed
You
it.
fed it a cookie.
Yes.
We have it on video. We fed it a cookie.
Where does the cookie go?
It opens, the mouth opens.
Well, okay, this is maybe not the thing I'm asking then. How does it process the cookie?
It didn't. It immediately just dropped it out.
To be fair, the humans couldn't process the cookie either, because the cookie was like there was something wrong with it. It was like spongy, and like it could bend in a way that cookies shouldn't be able
The
to.
robot put the cookie in the mouth and like closed, and the cookie did not break. That should tell you what the texture of the cookie is.
And then it ran over the cookie with the tricycle, and it also didn't break.
You know what this reminds me of? You know those like hydraulic press videos?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so there is a person now. What's funny, I've only seen a couple of them, but they're starting to pop up on Instagram. And it's like a pair of like fake teeth in like a hydraulic thing, and it's like biting into things that you wish you could bite into. And so like the first one was like a hornet's nest, and then somebody did like a candle, and then chapstick. And so like I've seen all of these videos, and I'm like, that sounds, it's like it shit just goes everywhere. It looks deeply unpleasant, but that's kind of what this sounds.
I agree with chapstick and like, what was the other thing?
A candle?
A candle.
Hornet's nest.
And a hornet's
Yeah.
nest.
No,
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
It's terrible. I understand the drive for the
Yeah.
hornet's nest.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesse knows this about me.
We talked about it on the
We
Xbox
talked about it
showcase this
on
morning.
the showcase. Yeah, I have a weird thing where sometimes I see something in a video game and I'm like, I just kind of want to eat it. Like I
Just
just
about Breath of the Wild.
no. Wait, what's in Breath of the Wild?
You can't use those as ingredients. like not hornets specifically,
But like
but
monster claws and
like there's like a wasp nest looking.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is about me playing Final Fantasy 14 and wanting to see what the like
Aetherites.
Aetherites taste like.
Ooh.
Because they look like giant pieces of rock candy. And then we saw God of War Laufey at the state of play, and I want to eat the cube. Like not eat the cube, not wholly eat the cube,
Yeah.
but like
the little corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like not pull a corner. Like I do kind of want to bite. Like I want to leave like a cartoon bite in the corner. There's something
Yeah.
about it.
If Jeff Keighley put a chocolate statue of something in Summer Games Fest, how long do you think it would go before somebody bit it?
I would bite it on site.
Frame one.
I don't.
Hour one.
I
First
literally do not think I have the self-control to not do it.
Okay, this is a really good question though. What does everybody think the cube from Laufey tastes like?
We've actually discussed this.
Check.
Yeah, we've
This
asked
is a good
like
question. This is a good question.
I said cucumber lime Gatorade.
Oh.
That was my immediate takeaway.
It kind of has like these bubble, like they're stars or something, right? But like it has a fizzy look to it. So I feel like it would taste like Sprite.
Oh yeah, like it would
Yeah,
have kind of a seltzery
Yeah.
type taste to it. Like there would be some carbonation inside.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like an ocean, like a sea salt or like some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I went blue raspberry originally, but then I kind of moved into the sort of ocean vibe of some sort of sea salt, coconut type vibe.
I picture like if you had what's the light blue Gatorade, like Arctic
Glacier freeze.
Glacier freeze. If you had like Jello of that,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm feeling. That's the vibe I get.
Wait, can you? Sorry, this is a little off topic, but to piggyback off of Glacier Freeze, could you not just freeze Gatorade, like Glacier Freeze Gatorade in ice cube
You can
trays,
freeze Gatorade.
and then just like
freeze
make
whatever.
Glacier Freeze?
Make pops. Well, you can make popsicles for sure.
Yeah.
I know. I want to make ice cubes to like put them in my other drinks.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from freezing things.
Well, I didn't
I
make
feel
Gatorade.
like-
I feel like
It's open up for Jesse.
this is like bad for everybody, actually.
This is how Jesse turns.
You actually recently got a Ninja Creamy, if I remember.
Yeah, yo, I've been using that. And
What is the tech been for the creamy?
the tech for the creamy is almond milk,
Uh-huh.
monk fruit sweetener, xanthan gum, which I've been playing around with. That stuff's dangerous. Be very careful. It makes everything very sticky. A crushed Oreo, and then you jam it in the Ninja Creamy, and it like spins it all up. You got to freeze it for like 24 hours, and then it makes you ice cream that's like 100 calories. It's crazy. But I keep messing it up, and it comes out like shaved ice. So I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Do you want me to tell you what I suspect?
What?
Almond milk. Almond milk is like, have you tried a different type of milk?
No.
It separates a lot and it
Interesting.
kind of freezes and get like that chippy frost bitten type
Okay.
texture.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
can be almond milk.
Ooh,
That would be
Okay,
that's my
that's good.
suggestion. Maybe
Should I-
try oat.
Oh, I was gonna say oat milk. I mean, I could go to whole milk. Almond milk's what I've had.
Yeah.
It just was in the fridge.
Yeah.
It's gonna go bad.
You know what else doesn't go bad is video games at Summer Game Fest.
Many of them do.
You
though.
asked about the Ninja Creamy.
I know.
I thought that this was an ice cream pop.
I took the reins and
So as a transition, there's a Bethesda like ice cream
Ice cream thing at Summer Game
there
Fest.
is.
that is named Bethesda Soft Serve. And I was like, that's a pretty good.
Good.
That is
there-
good. It's good.
Imran,
It's
give me your
weird.
puns.
I feel like I never eat at Summer Game Fest. There is food at Summer Game Fest for those who have wondered. There are food trucks even, but I feel like I never go over there because I never have time to. It's
Yeah.
so far away at the end of campus, and I had Barbie lemonade today, and that was pretty good. But otherwise, I just haven't been over there at all.
The
What-
best thing that they ever had was one year they had like those janky Sonic Hedgehog like ice creams.
That
The ones with like the green like they had those and that was wonderful.
I'd never had one before that moment.
Yeah.
and
Really?
it was pretty magical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is a Barbie lemonade?
it's just lemonade.
Is it
served-
pink lemonade?
No,
Interesting.
this
Regular
was
lemonade.
this was just lemonade.
Just straight lemonade. They just
It might have been like it was supposed to be pink. I feel like it might have been like supposed to be pink, but I think they just gave me a glass of lemonade and then told me that there's a new Barbie game coming out.
When I
It's just
walked
like
by the like 20-year-old girls that are like staffing that booth, were like, great shirt. I'm like, this reference is so much older than you.
It's so funny though that like because some of the stuff that is there is literally just like normal thing with branding attached to it. There's a whole coffee shop and the coffee shop is actually really good. Like the
it's so-
on-site coffee
every
shop.
year it's so good.
Every year, like they nail it. But this year it was sponsored by Warframe and Soulframe. And so all of the names of it was just like the like most MMO sci-fi like and so I would go up there and I'm like, I just want a chai with oat milk, and they're like, I got you, I understand, I got you.
Every morning I've walked in there and just been like, I'd like a dirty chai, please. And they're like, we got you. Okay. Yeah. I've been on the chai. Like
it's good. That was funny. I literally got a dirty chai today.
It's so good.
Mhm.
It's excellent.
I'm glad I dragged us back to food.
Yeah. You know what else is good? Whatever Jesse Vitelli has been playing lately. What have you been enjoying at SGF?
Oh, I feel like I have played nothing, which is untrue. I've played a lot. The thing I've been thinking about the most, though, is Clutch, the racing game from Maverick Games, the one that ends with you shooting like a harpoon through a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
That game's cool. I saw like an hour presentation of it in the hottest room in the entire world. But the game was cool enough to keep me cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so what's really neat about it is it's ex Forza Horizon devs who are making a game, and they're like, what if we like made Forza Horizon better? And I mean that like sincerely, because I just reviewed Forza Horizon 6, whatever, a couple months ago, right? Or a month ago, whatever, time doesn't matter. And my problem is I think we've butt like up against how much you can interact with an open world through a car. Like we do the barn finds, you jump off a cliff, you drive a car, right? This game is like, what if you did that, but you had an oil slick? You could like spray out behind you, or a grappling hook, or a jet booster.
What if I were Batman?
What if you were like, what if you had the James Bond car and you could do cool things?
What was that game? Is like Spy Hunter or something? Yeah. Is it kind of like that? I mean, nobody else has played Spy Hunter for the GameCube, but
Spy Hunter for the GameCube, a reboot of the NES Spy Hunter.
The original Spy Hunter, yeah.
Clutch is really interesting because it has all this like weird tech that makes the cars like really fun to play, but it also drives like Forza Horizon, and it's even got like the drive line and all this stuff. But it's a narrative driven game, so there's like there are characters in this world that tragedy befalls them when one of their racing whenever their racers dies, gets an explosion in a race or whatever, and then they're like, we got to get revenge, we got to find out what happened to him. And then now you're just like driving and you're like walking into people's houses. You get to get out of the car in certain areas and like explore this person's like apartment, and then you steal their car and drive it off a cliff and then shoot a harpoon through a helicopter. This game is crazy.
Like, okay, outside of Diddy Kong Racing, I really don't care about racing games.
No, this is cool.
I hear that and I'm like, you know what? I'm in.
Yeah.
I do want to steal a car.
It's really interesting because they have this two split where it's like at night you do street races and you do it for your like Instagram followers, and you have this chat that's like asking you to do things, and you're doing things while you're racing for like donations and stuff. And then during the day, you're doing like more normal sort of like professional races, and it all takes place in Monaco. And so you're just driving around, whatever, the south of France, chilling.
I mean this genuinely. Are there actual live streams out there that are like that of people doing illegal street races on Instagram?
I bet you there are, though.
They're probably
like,
just gotta know where to look.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Well, especially because like I feel like with the racing community, not that I'm at all adjacent to it anyway, but like I just like guys I know who are really into like cars and racing, they're really into it. Like I guarantee you they're watching some sort of stream.
Okay.
It's got to exist.
All right. Well, we'll look up those streams later. Imran, what have you been enjoying?
Earlier today, I'm talking about demos that I played today. Both of them are. I just finished Stranger Than Heaven, that demo.
Oh, I was going to say you finished Stranger.
I finished that game.
That game's done.
That was quite.
That was a real long demo that I played today.
A real short game.
Yeah, that's RGG's new game where they are, I would say, stepping on some rakes here and there, but like not the last trailer, the big trailer they came out a couple of months ago with at the like Xbox Presents whatever. That I think I looked at that, I said, okay, they are going for a generational leap in their Yakuza ideas, and that ambition is certainly there. Whether it succeeds for you, I think, is going to really depend on the type of person you are. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours who did not like it. They were a big Yakuza fan, but they were not feeling this. I feel differently. I think it actually works pretty well. It is their attempt at turning Yakuza into a kind of a Souls-like in terms of combat. This demo is purely combat, for the record.
Yeah.
I did not get to walk around or do stories or anything like that. So, like, it is if you are surrounded by 4 people, you will probably get like the crap beaten out of you. But you have your right arm and your left arm, and they are on the shoulder buttons and triggers. And so if like a guy grabs your right arm, what do? You start trying to punch him with your left arm, or you try to punch the guy next to him with your left arm, or if you're trying to like alternate your fists up to get better combos, or one has a weapon, so like you should make sure that the weapon arm is the one that you're blocking with.
We had Carson on here earlier talking about it, and it reminded me. I mentioned Tekken at the time. That's kind of the same philosophy Tekken takes with its buttons. Also, I just remember now Absolver. If you remember one, had a very similar idea, but that is, Yakuza, a game that is a little bit more known for your standard like third person action brawler setup, and even at that, a little bit more spectacle than challenge. And this one, is it leaning more towards that challenge side and like trying to push you a little bit more?
I think it's definitely trying to like. So the way the demo was set up is they put you at a beginner phase, then you beat that, and you go to like a more intermediate one, and you beat that. They go essentially what is a demo version of a super boss, and they like. I don't know how many people in that demo station beat that, but I did know I had a crowd around me that went from enthusiasm that I kept losing to pity. And that just never feels good. But I did eventually beat that thing. And yeah, I can see if they go more that direction, that is the like, they are trying to hit a challenge thing. They are trying to be it so you will get better at this game, and you will like understand a boss's timing, and you will understand what moves are. So this boss in particular had a thing where if they kneel down, and they will either like attack you if you try to attack them, drink sake and recover their health, or they will run at you and like kill you in one hit. The killing you in one hit thing happened to me several times. But like it, as I was playing, I just learned more and more of him doing that. One time he did it to me in a combo, and like even the reps around, like, wow, I've never seen that before. Like, great. Fantastic.
That's
awesome.
My favorite things when you're previewing something, like, wow, I've never seen that before. And you're like, awesome. That's so cool. That's great.
Sometimes it's a good, I've never seen that before. Sometimes it's a bad, I've never seen that before. It's a uh-oh.
But honestly, it's really interesting if like if the story can keep up with what they're trying to do with the combat. I think that's going to be an interesting game. Obviously there are other aspects of that game that are disagreeable, but we'll see what happens when that game actually comes out, I suppose.
We'll see whether we will hit them up or not. Yeah. Jess, how about you?
Yeah. So I guess the, one that I would want to talk about today, the one that I saw this morning that stood out to me is Silent Hill Townfall. Did anybody else see it?
I really wanted to.
It's so okay. It was all hands off, and it was only about 15 minutes or so of actual like gameplay. It's first person, which is a first for the series. So if you're looking for like something to like scratch the PT itch that we were hoping would one day be scratched, this is probably it. And because it's in first person, I feel like it's very eerily grounded. Like when you're walking through some of the houses, like it feels very, very, very real. And I don't know. I'm excited for it. Like I think that based off of what I've seen, it looks like it might be the scariest one, which makes me a little nervous because I'm kind of a baby sometimes. But it's the atmosphere and what's going on with it is interesting enough to where I'm like, I gotta be brave.
What sets it apart as like a Silent Hill game? Because I feel like Silent Hill, you had kind of the continuity for a long time of the mainline games. Now there's been a lot of branching off with Silent Hill F and now Silent Hill Townfall. What is the sort of like not gimmick, but like thing that this one does that makes it its own Silent Hill game?
So I think it's hard to tell right now because I think what they are going for, what like the defining thing that makes Silent Hill a Silent Hill game is just this element of being trapped in a prison of your own making. Like that is kind of like the true Silent Hill. It is whether it's guilt, whether it's like in Silent Hill F, like her whole thing is being a woman who is trapped between wanting independence and wanting to adhere to societal norms and like kind of essentially like losing her mind because of it. And so a lot of it is whether it's something like James in Silent Hill 2, where like he was a person who did something pretty I can't say this, where, like James, where it's like he was the person who did something that was not good.
We're not gonna swear jar next to you.
I know, I'm so bad. And I'm a mom. I'm not supposed to be, but I
have heard your kid curse before, and it is very funny.
Mike, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that sounds right, actually. Oh, God, I need to work on it. Maybe I do need a swear jar. But no, it's like, so you have, like James, who it's of his own volition. And then you have Hinako, who's kind of forced by society. And in this one, we don't know what it is yet. The main character's name is Simon. He's very meek. And something that I like that they're doing is a lot of times, especially in horror games, it can be really weird when you have a protagonist who like, you're trying to be stealthy. You don't want to be heard by something that's going to instantly kill you. And then like they do something, you're like, oh, that was rough. And it's like, well, like, why are you talking to yourself? So instead of talking to himself, because he is a quiet, reserved kind of guy, there's just like little text that pops up on the side, like every so often. It's like an internal monologue. It'll be like, oh, like, I don't know what this does. And it kind of serves as a way to where you're not just getting like an annoying, like new objective pop up, but you're also not getting like the chatty protagonist in a, like, that doesn't make sense. So I feel like they are, I don't know, they're sticking to what's making all of the recent Silent Hill games like really good. Because 2 Remake, phenomenal. Phenomenal. They are on kind of a roll right now. And I think this one looks really different from both of those, which they were distinct from one another too. But they're still doing something that like works with what they're doing with the series and seems interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Silent Hill really seems like it has found a second wind. Konami in general seems to have suddenly found a second wind of, we're going to get some of these series back to where they used to be. We're going to stop letting them, mire around in nothing. And it's been kind of interesting to see that stuff pop up.
Castlevania is like the most exciting thing I saw today. I really want to play that game. Yeah. But also it's like, if you told me 5 years ago, Silent Hill is going to become yearly and they're all going to be good, I'd be like, you're insane.
Yeah.
Well, it's so like, this is kind of like a funny, cool story because it was one of the first times where I like went to an event and I was like having a conversation with developers that felt like really cool. You know what I mean? Like it's not in like that sense, like that. They're all great conversations, but I was like, I feel like I'm like in it right now. And I went to Konami. Okay, I've been to gone to Japan and seen them the last couple years. So I saw them for Silent Hill 2. I saw them for Silent Hill F. And we've gotten to know each other a little bit more. But I remember the first time that I was out there, they were like, so we look at Capcom, and they even brought up Capcom. They're like, we look at Capcom and we look at Resident Evil, and like, you guys are really loving this in America. Like, you're loving what they're doing. It seems like they're doing everything right. Like I think I even said like they're going through like a bit of like a renaissance right now. And they were like, that's what we want to capture. Like they even said that they're like, that is like we have, and I even told them too, I'm like, you guys have so many good like franchises. Like you truly do in like the least like cynical corporate way, but like you have so many series that people deeply care about. And so I think that all you really have to do is invest in those rather than pachinko. And like you've probably got some winners, right? And I think that like that's been their strategy, and they really are investing particularly in Silent Hill, and they've been really good.
Yeah. Silent Hill has been really on an uptick over the last few years. It's been cool to see. Closing thoughts. We'll start back with you. Like, where do you think SGF is at? Like, do you think we're at a good place with how SGF kind of fits within the industry? Do you think it's kind of serving the need that it needs to serve?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's hard because like I can really kind of only speak for myself, because I think that as of right now, it's a really great press event. You know what I mean? It is not like your fan fest. It is not like the public E3. It is not something that like is this public like hype event that feels like a real big like celebration of video games. It feels like a press event. And for someone who is working in the press, it's really great for me because I feel like it's small enough to where I can get what I need to get done. I wish that they had more areas to actually write. That would be really, I wish they had more like chairs.
That might be our power outlets in the media room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they had last year, but didn't this year.
Yeah.
I think this year they like took away all the chairs and left the areas with the tables to write.
Jeffrey Keeley, if you are watching this, if you're listening to this, it is kind of wild how the media room has like no outlets in it, and
it's also incredibly hot. There's like no air conditioning in the back of it,
and the cafe for some reason has a bunch of tables and no chairs.
Yes.
And it's
and I'm glad that you brought up like the hot thing too, because so they added this year, there was an expansion. It used to end, there's like this it's so inside baseball, but there's like a coffee shop and then it kind of like ended right there. But now they've extended it because it's growing in size. Like each year it's consistently getting larger. And they added like additional rooms and they have like this trailer. And I was talking to some of the developers, somebody like walked up to me and they're like, I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so hot in there. I'm dripping with sweat. It doesn't even feel safe. And like also they had one of the PCs crash and like somebody who was playing could no longer play because they had to restart everything because it overheated. Everything was too hot in the room. And he's like, yeah, like we're definitely going to have to leave feedback or something because like we can't do it. If it were any hotter this year, like we straight up would have to be like, no, like we have to shut down.
Can I give my cynical take real quick?
Yeah.
I think that the media lounge this is like real inside baseball, sorry. I think the media lounge last year was really good and everybody stayed in it. And all the pictures and videos from the event looked like no one was at it. When you're in that main strip, it looks like just an alleyway with nobody there because everybody's inside, sitting down, doing anything. I think they did not want this year. I think they wanted everybody out and about and taking photos so that when the drone flies over, it gets the drone shot. All the people are actually outside and not sitting tucked away in some media lounge writing. And I think it's at odds with one another because there's a creator event and there's a press event. And creators are obviously out and about doing their thing, which is great and super cool. I love doing that. And press are trying to do their job, and there needs to be a happy medium where they can sit down and write for an hour or two when they need to, and then they can go out and look around and do whatever. And I think they maybe have swung the fence or swung the needle the other way this year.
But also it's a weird thing because like this SGF more than like I think any in my memory, everything's embargoed. Like, I can't write anything because like there's nothing to write this week.
Even also all the appointments are double the length that they were last year.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I had at least one appointment, will not be named, but was just like, you can't publish anything from this. And I was like in perpetuity. And I was like, I cancel it. Because I was like, why would I do that? I'm here to share information about video games. And it's been interesting. I feel like people are continuing to figure out what they get from Summer Game Fest. Because Schreier was on here on the last segment saying a lot of devs can still show up at something like the Game Awards or Summer Game Fest and have a life-changing moment, have a completely like career-shifting moment of launching their game or their project into a place where they can get their funding, they can get a publisher, they get in front of the public's eyes, and all those things still exist. But Summer Game Fest itself, the apparatus, still feels a little strange to me. Like it's kind of in between two worlds.
I kind of wonder if like this year's an aberration, like a GTA 6 size aberration of people just being like, we know that at a certain point in the year, there will just be nothing else anyone is talking about. So we have to just like really play this in a certain way. But also like, I don't know, man. I asked 2 questions about Code Veronica today, and I would love to be able to like just write an article about those questions, but I can't because we're all waiting till Wednesday to do it. But at the Wednesday that was before this airs, I guess.
Yeah. So Wednesday, 2 days past.
So go read those articles.
Yeah, go read those articles. Speaking of, let's run down the couch one more time. Jesse, where can the folks find you and the wonderful things you do on the internet?
You can find me at restart.run. Check out our social channels, our Instagram, our TikToks, our Blue Skies. If you're still on Twitter, you can go there. Facebook, YouTube. That might be it. I don't know if we're anywhere else. Oh, we're on Pinterest. You can check out our Pinterest. I don't know what goes on over there, but we have Pinterest. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Low key, Pinterest, kind of sick.
We have a Spotify now, too.
We have a Spotify. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing we've been doing. We've been asking a lot of our devs what song is like what's been their song of their development cycle. We got a couple good answers out of that.
That's
so we're making an SGF playlist.
That's wonderful. Imran, same for you?
Almost everything he just said. But also, if you want to find me on social media, it's imrankhan.bsky.social.
And Jessica, how about you?
You can find everything that I write, videos, everything, GameSpot, everywhere. And then as far as my personal, you can find me at Jessicogs, JESSICOGS.
And for us here at Game Informer, we'll be coming back in just a moment with our last segment of the episode, not of the night. We're recording these across 2 different nights, but don't go far. The GI show powered by Rode here at Summer Game Fest 2026. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Informer Show. I'm Alex Van Aken. Thanks for tuning in. We are in our downtown LA studio, powered by Rode microphones. Thank you, Rode, for supplying all of our awesome audio gear this week. Check out their colorways. They've got they got greens and blues. It's great. Rode.com. All right. Well, we have our last segment of the podcast today. It's been an excellent show. It's been exciting to have so many awesome guests, and we are rounding out the show with another excellent panel of guests.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll start on the end. Former Game Informer, now IndieInformer.com. Jill Grodt, hello.
Hello, everybody. I love that we got the blue arms just to match our outfits.
Yes.
That was
yes.
Except mine, because I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, blue jeans.
Oh,
And-
that's so true.
There you go. Yeah, blue jeans. Come on. Yeah. Janet Garcia, hello. MinMax.
Hi, excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. And lastly, YouTube creator,
Yes, Liss the last.
Liss the Last. Hello. How are you?
YouTuber.
Yeah.
Good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
good. So yeah, last day of SGF was today. It was a pretty light day for me. It's kind of awesome. Yeah, so I played a lot this weekend. I think Slap Out of It was probably one of my highlights. That was the first game I played at the show, and I think probably my favorite. But Liss, what about you? What have been some of your favorites? This is your first SGF, I think you were telling me the other night, maybe?
Yes, this is my very first time attending.
Yes.
Yeah, there was, I think, from what I heard from other people, a lot more YouTuber creators type of, people like that this year. And I feel like I was a part of that little wave. So I felt really honored and excited to come and show up and get to play a lot of really amazing demos. One of my favorite things that I played was probably Pedal Runner.
Yeah.
Did you guys play that one?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. It was like essentially their spiel and their pitch was Pokemon, but if the battles were WarioWare minigames.
Mm-hmm.
I love WarioWare. So
Yeah.
the second that started happening to me, I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, this is so great. Because I didn't know about this game before I showed up. And so, yeah, that was a really pleasant surprise. It was actually the very first thing that I played when I arrived. So the first day, that was great.
I really wanted to get your opinion on Grave Seasons. Did you get a chance?
Oh, yes.
yes.
That's actually like the main reason I wanted to come. I've been watching that game forever. I refer to your article all the time. This is not a
Yeah.
fangirling over here.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But yeah, no, I admire your work and I really appreciate that article as well. And I just was always excited for Grave Seasons because it seemed like it was doing a little bit more of a transformative thing with the farming sim genre, adding on the creepy horror elements and the murder mystery. I have been anticipating this for years. So finally getting my hands on it, I enjoyed the demo. I thought it was great. It's really hard to showcase a game that you have to sink, a good 5 in-game days to really get into the meat and potatoes and, not getting to know the characters before the inciting incident happens, essentially.
Whatever that might be.
Yes, whatever that might be. It was a little bit like, okay, yeah, no, we're the purpose of this demo is to kind of just get a feel of the art style and the game. And, I think a lot of people are very familiar with farming sims, but maybe aren't keeping up with the genre very much.
I'm so ready to talk about this because I had a friend at the mix. He played, and he didn't know what Grave Seasons was. So he was playing and he was like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying I'm farming and I'm fishing. And I'm like, ooh, you don't know what's about to happen. So I'm just like sitting back and kind of cackling. He's like, why are you laughing like that? And then we got to I don't know if I want to spoil it, but like
the moment.
And he was like, whoa. I'm like, yes. And I think I got it on cam.
Yeah.
So it's going up somewhere.
It's so interesting and I'm excited for it because I'm just looking for something fresh.
Totally. There's this one. I get this one confused with Neverway.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like 2 games of like a very similar style, but Neverway's first person. Yes.
Neverway is kind of more top down.
Okay. It's been interesting how
There's a couple different
there's a couple horror farming sim games now.
You might be thinking of Never's End.
Never's Way, Never End.
Yeah, but they're both kind of like in that cozy horror like genre, which I feel like that's definitely gained a lot of popularity in the last like year or so. Kind of like what else can we do with like this formula and thinking of like ways to switch it up. But with Grave Seasons, I really like that they kind of spliced up their demo. At least they did last year. I assume it might have been the same this year of kind of showing you a lot like at once and not just giving you like a slice of the game. I think it's way more work for the developer, but like, we talk about this all the time on Indie Council. Like there's such a benefit to making like a specific build for like demo
Yes.
purposes, because you have such little time. You know, it's hard to like get a big sense of someone's game, especially one like that.
Yeah, something you kind of got to like really sit down and wait for it to heat up a little bit. It's like, how do you show this off in 30 minutes? I don't know. Luckily, like I was already there, so hype and so excited, and so just getting my hands on it for the first time was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the creepy cozy emergence that's coming out, I played Fractured Blooms.
Okay.
Oh, I
Had a really fun.
I don't know this one.
It is essentially a little creepier on the onset
Okay.
than Grave Seasons, and it is a more naturalistic style.
Hmm.
But it is the one that I played this year at Summer Game Fest. I at one point was so happy to return to a creepy church because where I'd just come from freaked me out so bad.
Is this the one from the developer who made that game about the fox? Am I making any sense? From like
No.
2017?
No, there
Okay.
were a lot
There
of
was like a
videos of
breakout.
fox.
I'm like obsessed with devlogs on YouTube.
Okay.
And there was one of the like breakout early devlog creators. I'm blanking on his name, but he released, I think it was called like the last campfire.
Oh, Endlings?
No, it's all right.
Y'all
But-
we just sit here and we guess.
Yeah, I know, right? If all,
games.
I do
Yeah.
think all of our brains must be broken after
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
one because
there should really be a journalist in the room too.
Should be.
Okay, but I think they like they had gone and made like one of these horror kind of farming games. But yeah, it's interesting to see, like you said, Janet, like it's starting to evolve. I do think it's funny how like obviously these games have been years in development. So like they all kind of came to the conclusion on their own.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see them kind of come to light around a similar time. But I'm excited to see how I love life sims. You know, I tend to do more of like enjoy the Animal Crossings more than like a Stardew. I love and respect Stardew, but like I think I just like the gameplay a little bit more like an Animal Crossing. But it's cool to see kind of a bunch of different takes on it. Did any of you play a game called Bub?
Yeah.
I wanted
my
to so
gosh,
bad.
yeah.
I didn't get to that one.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry you missed that. That is one of those games that you walk out and you're like, this was a game to see. And it's
Mhm.
got really word of mouth because I think when we were going in, not a lot of people like had it on their radar.
No, not at all.
But it is so like the story behind the developer is very inspiring as well because the developer got sick while making this game and is now making it as much as he can with a fellow developer, and it's just a 2 developer team. The game itself is so art.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, it's like it seems like it's papercraft that has been
Yeah.
scanned in.
No, it's like every single art form you can think of.
Yeah.
it's got
Oh yeah, the
paintbrush,
paintbrush. Yeah.
It's got brush. It's got like
Dry erase
marker
marker.
on glass. It's literally every scene is a different art style, and it's all really like evocative and lovely for the story. The story that we saw so far in this demo was a young boy just kind of narrating his early childhood life and
Yeah.
how
He makes music. It seems like he has like a music studio in his basement.
yeah, he's like
That's
an
kinda-
artist.
Yeah, he's an
in
artist,
New
yeah.
York, and he's thinking back to his childhood, and he's talking about an incident where a young boy died who was in his school or in his neighborhood, and then his mother realizing, oh, I could lose my children at any time, and having that like realization and starting to like get a stronger grip on her kids because of it and how that was sort of affecting him. And just the whole time, it's not like you're playing the story. It's just like really lovely art, evocative scenes that are like when he was talking about, oh, the boy drowned and
I teared up at this scene and that scene and that final sequence when you're like kind of riding the bike and the
Yeah.
music hits. I asked the developer like if he was doing the music because I kind of got that sense, but it turns out it's actually just like an indie pop artist that he really loves the music of, and they have like a bartering system. So the developer will make music videos for the indie artist, and then in exchange for using the music in their game. Yeah, it was like really touching. It hit very hard. It was very poignant. But in a total surprise. Like it's like really nice when there's like a gentle game experience at shows like this.
Yeah.
Cause there's so much, like I played Tomb Raider and like all these like more,
action and blood.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of really cutesy games, but then it's like, it's rare and it's a nice kind of, experience when you get to like kind of escape into one of these, which is, it's cool. But, Janet, what was your favorite game of the show, or one that you want to dig into more?
I guess it's tough. I feel like you bringing up the like papercraft element. I do want to shout out Out of Words, because that which is like another. I mean, everyone's kind of like mimicking and being inspired by like so many different people, and I feel like we're also seeing a lot of like handcrafted indie games come out, where it's like, what if we were like a little bit more creative with the medium and did stuff like in real life and then kind of scanned it in or did stop motion or whatever. So like Bub is in that vein of like a mixed media game. And Out of Words is like they like handcraft like the creatures, and then it's all like stop motion. And it looks really nice and it feels like comfortable to play. The closest thing I can compare it to like mechanically is sort of a more low-key version of like Unravel, which is to say that like it's almost more of like an experiential platformer. Like I don't think it's gonna be like pushing back a lot, but it's co-op, and it had like they showed off this like really fun gravity flip mechanic where you like would toss a little guy like between the two of you to give each other the ability to flip.
Oh, cool.
And like that kind of in the sequence they showed us culminated in like a moment where you're essentially flying through the sky with each other by like tossing it back and forth. And it's like just a really nice like way of, hey, you played the level probably verbalizing things to each other, and now you get to the point where you can just like play, whether it's couch co-op or online, and just like get a sense of the rhythm. And I thought that was like really nice, really beautiful. It's so tough to make a game that has like a really striking art style, but also like feels good on the sticks. And I know sometimes people downplay like the mechanics of games that are more like in that artsy realm, but like it's so important to like have a good walk feel in a game if your game is about walking, like, that's hard to do. And I think they like really nailed it on that. So that's one I want to shout out for sure.
Hell yeah. Jill, what about you?
Well, I want to talk about Out of Words because I asked them what they made. There were like a bunch of sand dunes, and I couldn't place them. Like, is that clay? They'd literally taken knives to books and just like hit the pages down and then put sand over it. I was like, that's gorgeous. I love that. That was one of my absolute favorite games.
I just imagine like some like dilapidated scanner in an office that has just been like blown to bits with like, paint and sand. And I imagine that's how they get it into the game. I guess they could do like photography or something, but
yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like they create like stages like in real life and then
got it.
Film it.
No, I want it to be just a paper copy.
But yeah, I mean, that was another one where like to their credit, they like cut something very specific for like that show where they're like, here's this level, here's like a later level, here's a middle. And it's like, you don't have to show your game like chronologically. Like you can show it however you feel best conveys like what makes your game special. And I, again, extra work, extra funding, extra time. But like, if you can do that, like it can go such a long way.
Yeah. On the other end of games where it's not like action blood sort of game, I want to shout out Mr. Records. That was amazing.
The grandpa game. I wanted to play that so bad. I also missed out.
Like everyone's talking about Mr. Records.
I think it was a lot of people missed out on it because I
missed out on it.
I suspected it was going to be in the Day of the Devs section because it was in the Day of the Devs showcase. But it is so fantastic. It's got like the art of the Plucky Squire. Like it's that kind of beautiful pop cartoon. And then the gameplay is split between like it's not really Guitar Hero, but like Adventure Guitar Hero, I guess you could say. And then store management because you're running a record shop. So every record that you get for the shop, you play through this like imaginary world of music where everything's to the rhythm and you're like kicking ghosts and jumping over things like to the beat. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I'm not great at it. I'm not going to lie. So I unlocked one hard level and I was like, try this, immediately died. I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm going back to the easy. So it is just every single song is amazing. And they've got so many different song styles as well, like blues and funk and rap, and it's all just fantastic. And then once you've like completed a level, you then get the record to put into your store. You open up in the morning, people come in, and it's kind of, hey, I want a game, or I want a music that I remember from my childhood. And it's like an old woman. So you're looking for clues as to what they want, so you can give it to them, so you can make more money to buy more records. When you get more records, you open up more levels, and you go from there. And it's a really, really satisfying game loop as far as I can see so far.
Love it. Liss, what about you? What was another one of your favorites?
I don't think. Can we talk about orbitals?
No.
No.
Yeah, no, that's like way late.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah. Or actually, I'd like to ask you like more about like what's it like been like your first year SGF? Because for me, I felt like last year was a little stagnant. Like the show kind of continued to like get physically bigger, but I felt like it wasn't filled.
Yeah.
And this year it's been so lively and honestly really nice seeing so much energy in the room. But I'm curious, like from your perspective, what that's been like.
It was amazing. I really loved it. I loved how many opportunities there were to play games and how the whole thing was set up. It just felt like a very well-run event that it was like the most amount of games that you can play in a day. You know? It's really great because you really can get to so much instead of like a typical like convention when you're walking around and you got to go stand in the lines and stuff, right? So that was something that I noticed right off the bat that I was like, wow, I really enjoyed this experience because it also led me to open myself up a bit more to genres that I don't typically play. So I was able to like, you know, kind of come out of my comfort zone a little bit, but also in general, like everybody's really nice. Everybody's really sweet and cool. And yeah, navigating it as a creator was kind of interesting as well because I would like talk to some of my creator friends that were there and they're like, oh yeah, I'm skipping out on the show because I'm going to record from home and get a video out as soon as possible. I'm like, oh, that's like a really good idea. So dang, I should have thought of that maybe. So my first year, it was a little rough around the edges where it's like, oh man, I should have maybe been doing more stuff in the moment to be more topical. But I learned a lot, right? Of just like, you know, what I would do next year.
Totally. I mean, I feel that on the press side of things, right? Eric off screen. And I have been like, oh man, like, how do we like, it's a constant battle of like, I'm sure you two relate to this. Like, oh, I've got all this stuff to talk about. Some of it's embargoed, some of it's not, but I have to like keep the engine rolling to get more content. But when do I put it up?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a delicate balance, but the best part was definitely meeting new people and going out there and playing all the games.
Yeah.
It was
great.
Wonderful experience.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Janet, what do you think about the show this year?
Yeah, I think it was like a stronger year. I mean, I think, you know, some years are just like bigger on like at least the AAA front. Obviously, like there's always like going to be good indie games coming out. Sure, there are like years that have like the marquee indie title, like, you know, this year with like Meet of the Hollower. It's like there are always like big indies that like take the spotlight of a year. But for AAA, I felt like there's definitely been a lot more. Like Capcom's really been on a roll. So like them having a presence there. I think it's really interesting that Nintendo has had a presence here for the first time. I think that kind of, to me, that says like, okay, like where are they at like strategy wise? Like, you know, obviously they were just showing like third party, but it's like, okay, they're kind of making that effort. It's year 2 of Switch 2. Where are we at with this console? I know like on the player side, like from my perspective, I feel like we kind of maybe need a little bit more of an oomph from Nintendo. So maybe this is them trying to say, hey, you know, again, Nintendo third-party support. I've been hearing about it for as long as I've been a Nintendo fan. So it's like, okay, they're making that effort of trying to like, you know, be here and be in this space. They're also like notably, you know, they're one of the big 3. So there's always that question of like, when we think of what made E3, it's the participation of all these big publishers. SGF has never quite had that. Like we've had PlayStation here at times.
Yeah, like last year they were doing Horizon, Horizon Adventures.
Yeah, whatever year was that last year that it came out? Maybe,
wasn't it?
It might have been 2 years.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, it's like okay, it's kind of like will we get to that point to eventually build it up where it would be like the major publishers are there on campus, or, and obviously Xbox does do stuff, but they do it off campus. So it's that, seeing how the show evolves and how much publishers are paying attention. Like the fact that Nintendo's here, I think is a good sign for SGF, because it says that they cared enough about this show to say, like, we want to have a presence there.
Yeah.
Even if we're saving for the Nintendo Direct.
It definitely was like a little bit underwhelming of like a vibe, because it is just like a lot of, multi-platform stuff, things in other places, but like the fact that they're there like does say something. They even say like
they paid to be there
in in the show. So it's interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah. Jill, what about you?
I was listening to you talk about like I'm gonna know for next year, and just thinking about all of the like the lessons I learned last year that I don't pay attention to.
I'll like write down like in my notes, like I'll do like a little postmort for myself, and then I like never reread it. So it's like if you can just reread. Or
let me just say it right now: never scheduling anything back to back ever again. Oh my god,
it's horrible.
No, but now then be beholden. I'm beholden to the podcast.
Yes, we have the proof. Yeah.
So that was really rough, because I didn't know where anything was. So I ran around.
And they change it every year.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So
yeah.
Definitely never doing that again. And a couple other little lessons and stuff. Like I didn't know Xbox was going to be primarily off campus.
Minus ID at Xbox, which can be confusing, because it's like, this part of Xbox is here.
So that's like, keep on the lookout. Right.
Yeah. Speaking of that ID at Xbox area, there were a lot of really good games. We had Blood Dungeon there.
Blood Dungeon on my list to talk about.
Yes. Blood Dungeon, I think, is just like a slap in the face to like the concept, the notion that like, I have to rely on like AI too, because I like, and obviously very talented developers have worked on this. They made Wheel World, they made Nidhogg. Like these are excellent game developers. But even somebody, this was my game that I worked on when I was like winding down at night, and I just was like, it was kind of a relaxing experience. Then I found a musician to do the it's actually Wheel World. Composer who's like doing audio direction, but like the game itself has this vibe, not quite like
MS Paint,
but like it reminds me of like the early days of like Xbox Live Arcade.
Totally.
And the game itself is like really excellent, but it's like you can put a game out and it can be incredible, preview incredible at least, because I think it's probably maybe my game of show. And you don't have to rely on like AI slop. Like we've seen in the AAA space, so many companies, like, I mean, there were companies here that, I don't know if I can talk about due to embargo, but just like relying on that shit.
And there's so many ways to make a game, and like, it should be, something that so many developers have like that personality and that passion of like what's specific to them and like what speaks to them. And it's nice to play something that feels, authored and like intentional. Like Blood Dungeon was incredible. I'm not the biggest like Vampire Survivors like fan necessarily. I've played Vampire Survivors, obviously. We play Goobies all the time, which is like kind of like in that style as well. But this is like Vampire Survivors meets platforming. And I love platforming, and I'm really good at platforming.
Hell yeah.
So this was like very smooth, but also it's like pretty friendly even if you're not into platforming, because you can the fact that you can kind of grapple and crawl on everything, like on the walls. And they have like the ability to climb on at least the level that they suggest that everyone play, like the first one. They have those cages from like Mario World. And it's like, literally that's like one of my favorite things to do in a video game ever, is to be on those cages. It was just super fun, chaotic, really fun art, and a great like, in classic Vampire Survivor style, like a great constant like dopamine unlock. You would be unlocking stuff like all the time. It was great to like experiment with my builds. I'm kind of getting more into the rogue genre as well. So I just really like found me at the perfect time, and I really loved it. I think like mechanically it's just such an instant click. So
mechanically so professional and polished. It kind of belies the look of
the doofiness
kind of look. But it's so smooth, exactly the way it needed to be. I was also worried about the amount of just things that are going off, projectiles and things. I'm like, is this going to start to show problems? Because, it's a demo, it's an early demo. You never know if those things are going to be a problem, but nothing ever slowed down and you were constantly going. I loved that at one point I found a gun where I could shoot spider webs and I could make my own like walking up.
Oh,
so
nice.
I didn't have to like worry about being trapped anywhere. And just the synergies that they had for the different things of like, there were items that I found that you shoot more when you're going faster, and then you're getting items that make you go faster.
Exactly.
And faster.
Yeah.
And so many different situations like that. So great.
Which too, to like clarify for people, like it's the structure is like you have like a general like level, like almost like an arena that you're going up and down. There's like ladders, there's walls, and then there's also like kind of doorways that have keys. So you have to like look and find the key and then sort of try to remember, okay, I have the green key now. Where might the green door be? And you're just like progressing more to like find chests. Some of them are just available. Some of them are locked behind like the currency that's in the game, like getting enough coins. And that's like the general like loop of it. But the other thing that was really cool is just like the animation work is very like fun and silly. Like there's different characters you can choose, but like the like kind of default character, like the main guy, his arms just kind of wave like nonstop. And
it reminds me of like old Newgrounds
games. And they have just like a lot of like smart little design choices. Like this is very like almost like a la Super Meat Boy, but like when you're done with like a session, they mark your path because again, it's like if you were to zoom out, it's not
I didn't
big
see
space,
that. That's cool.
but it'll like show like where you start and like, oh, you went up the wall and then you came down, then you went back up, then you went back, and it kind of just like it just feels really good to look at that and see like what you've done. It also kind of takes this thing out of like, no matter what happens, whether you like won or lost, it's like satisfying to see your process. And like, I appreciate a developer that can consider like, how can we make a loss condition still feel good? I feel like that's a real rarity in games, and this does that. So even though I didn't lose because I was really good, except for the first one. The second time I did great. So yeah.
Yeah. I had like a supremely broken build at my final. I got my ass whooped a couple times, but then I lucked out and I got this ability that I had a jetpack. I had a button that I left fire trails below.
I had the fire trail as well, yeah.
And so that combined with the jetpack, I was just raining fire. And then I had 50% extra damage when you're above an enemy. And then I could take 3 frames of damage for free. So I was just like cruising around the map. It was so fun. But yeah, Blood Dungeon. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I think people should go and check it out. I think it'll. I'm sure. I think there might be like a Steam demo up, or I'm sure there will be soon. If not, but definitely one to look out for. But let's kind of get to our closing thoughts. Liss, overall closing thoughts on SGF.
Overall, I of course am just so thrilled, and so everything was just amazing. I felt like I played a lot of things that I typically wouldn't be downloading the Steam demo for, just for the sake of time. And so it was really, really great to come to an event and have all of this time dedicated to experiencing a little bit of everything.
What's your like typical like genre preference, and what kind of thing did you like take a risk on that ended up like paying off like this weekend?
For me personally, I play a lot of just like a general Nintendo, but I am really huge into the farming sim genre and in general life sims. I played a little bit of horror. I can't recall one of them.
I'm too much of a baby for that.
I don't like horror games at all. There's like very specific things that I will maybe play, but so not my vibe. I get too scared. Yeah. And then my heart starts beating and I'm like, okay, I gotta go lay down. It's just not my favorite. So I played one that was it was called Don't Fret.
Okay.
And you're a sentient guitar and the whole game is themed to about music, and a lot of like the puzzles were music, but then it's also a horror game and you're chased by this big scary cassette thing monster. And I thought that was silly and fun. And then I was reminded why I don't really love those type of games, because I get too scared.
Fair.
My heart was racing. I had to go sit down after that one. And was late to my next appointment because I was like, I can't even walk right now. Getting out of my wheelhouse a little bit and just trying a bunch of different things. And I think for me, I don't cover a lot of wide variety of games and genres on my channel. So it's really nice to sort of, just experience a little bit of the other side of games.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I mean, another year down, another year closer to the end of everything. No, I mean, like it's interesting to be like somewhere on the ground floor in a way. I went to the last E3 that they had, like E3 2019. And now to like be at SGF and get to see it like go and change and develop. Like, I think it's easy to be negative about the game space. You know, there's obviously been like many reasons to be, like layoffs, closures, like it's inherently, you know, not a like super well-paying industry. Like there's many struggles, but for all of that, like it's nice to be reminded that like there's still newness to be celebrated. Like there's new games coming out, there's new studios being formed, there's new people trying things, there's new, you know, independent outlets like popping up, and people who are like out here repping their blogs, like doing freelance, but also saying like, hey, here's something I made myself, and like putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
And like, as much as it is kind of easy to be cynical about something like SGF, it is cool to be like, I was here from the start. I don't know how long SGF will be here, but it's cool to like get to have those stories, even as like, you know, some people would dub us like one of the not later generations of games media, but you know, there's kind of been tiers of people that have gone through. Games still aren't that old, and for there to be still like a new show that like I like to think that years from now, you know, we can all say, oh yeah, I was there at SGF 2026, and have that be like, oh my god, that was so long ago, and to have that and to like be part of that history, I think that's really cool. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to think about.
Yeah. To be a little more pessimistic.
Why?
No.
I'm going to end it on a positive note. So go ahead.
Cut it over. No, but go ahead.
Just cut me out. Why are you still not in this? No.
Dub it over. I agree with Jen. Okay.
Thinking about time for one of the Xbox indies, the PR person who was repping them came up to me and was like, these kids who are making this game, and they're full of grown adults, but weren't around for the E3 era. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting way too old. But that was Bad Magpie, which I'm
also a really cool game. Yeah, I like that.
Super excited for that. But yeah, I think it is just like you were saying, coming here, there's an energy there. It's seeing other people and reminding yourself like, oh, this is why we do this. Everybody here has that kind of passion, whether it's making games or writing about games, making content. Like we're all excited to be here and to see each other, and it like refills my tank for like the rest of the year.
Yeah, totally agree. I think you know, I've been really, I mean, Game Informer shut down in 2024, and then we all got rehired, and like we were at SGF. I guess we haven't missed an SGF because of the timing of it all, but last year we were like a month or two back, and it all was like, oh, I don't, or, you know, is this going to be our last one? And then of course we've like Game Informer's doing very well, and it's just like I'm in a place of gratitude. Like I don't, you know, games media is media in general is in a very precarious place with you know, search engine AIs stealing content, ad views are in the toilet, or ad revenues in the toilet, but there are cool people making cool things and finding new ways to fund themselves through patrons or YouTube memberships or what have you. And yeah, so I kind of just returned to a place of gratitude. And I feel very, with what you said, Jill, I feel like very filled up and kind of centered. It's like, man, I worked my ass off this weekend. I got no sleep, but I did it with the best people.
Yeah, our bodies are broken, but our hearts are full.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm ending my SGF. But I do want to say, it's not over yet, but if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, please consider picking up a Game Informer magazine subscription. We ship 10 issues a year. We literally just shipped our next one today. We finished it up. We snuck some SGF coverage in there, and it has been shipped to the printers. It will hit your mailboxes and newsstands across the world in late June, early July. So please consider picking it up if you see it. We're at Indigo and Chapters in Canada, places like Barnes & Noble across the world, and plenty of other countries. But that really helps us out. And what would really help our guests out, if you go and check out their stuff. Liss, I would love to know where people can find you, where they can support your work.
YouTube. And I'm really stupid on Twitter sometimes.
Okay. At Liss the Last, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Cool. Janet?
Nice. All my social handles are Game Onysus. That's Game ONYSUS. I also have a website, pen2pixels.com, where I do editorial stuff. And you can go to gameonysus.com, spelled the same way, for like my general portfolio. I do all the stuff that you see me doing: podcasts, videos, articles, and mock review consulting. So yeah.
You can also catch podcasting for me and Janet for the Indie Council. We are on Blue Sky at theindiecouncil.com, if I remember correctly. And you can check out theindieinformer.com for all of my indie stuff. It should be coming very soon, I promise. And then if you want to look for me on socials, it's Blue Sky at Finruin, Finruin for me personally, and at Indie Informer, or the Indie Informer.
The Indie
It's
Informer.
the Indie Informer. Very
Yeah.
important to have the.
I'll take the Indie Informer handle and then start impersonating from you.
It has it. I'm not gonna lie. To check everything else there.
Cool. Well, thank you for watching this special episode of the Game Informer Show. Of course, we release new episodes every Friday. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts or watch on youtube.com/Game Informer. Speaking of, be sure to tune into all of our video interviews, our preview coverage from SGF. We're going to be posting stuff throughout the week. If you have missed it somehow, please go back. We've got interviews with folks like Hamaguchi from the director of Final Fantasy VII Revelation. We had Yacht Club Games come over. We did a sort of post-mortem on Mina the Hollower. Remedy stopped by. We've got a lot of stuff on there, so that would be awesome. And as always, stay tuned to GameInformer.com. Thanks for watching, and we will... Good call, Eric. I'll retake that. And special thank you to Rode for powering our studio here in LA this week. It's been an immense help getting the best coverage we can out the door. You can, of course, find their pod mics, their PS1A Plus mic stands, the Rodecaster Pro 2, the Video S. We've got a whole video breaking down our studio setup over on our Instagram and YouTube and TikTok accounts. You can go and check that out. But yeah, thank you, Rode. Be sure to head over to Rode.com and shop their new colorways and all of their gear. So thank you again, Rode, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.